I'll be your cameraman, I forgot what I was then for a second, and co-commentator. I'm joined today by another commentator, which is a luxury for me, and it's old Tom. Tom, do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone. Obviously I would love to be on the sideline for a playoff game this weekend, but unfortunately my team was not able to make it that far. So instead I have the luxury of being with Steve to watch what should be, in my estimation, probably the best game of the playoffs.
Yeah, I hope so.
In this matchup.
So Olympians won the toss and have deferred. The Mavericks are going to receive, and they are going to be going right to left, which is coincidentally the direction of this very heavy, gusty wind that is blowing. But it is a little bit swirly too. So, how do you think that's going to factor in today, Tom?
Well, I think it would be interesting to know the discussions that they had before the coin toss, but I suspect that you want to have that wind behind you so that you can try and get that score going into halftime. Obviously, you're going to be kicking off to start the second half.
Yep.
So if you can try and get those points coming into halftime, try and take those shots, use the wind to your advantage, then obviously that puts you in a better position to start that second half strong, knowing that the other team's going to be getting the ball. When we played down here earlier on this season, the wind direction didn't really change too much. We had it going the opposite way.
By we, you mean the Kent Textiles?
Yes, indeed. Yes, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I'm easy to forget that not everybody knows the ins and outs of every single thing that I do.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with them, hey?
At Thomas Evans 99. But no, so I would expect that the wind would be staying sort of the same throughout the game. So makes sense for them, and hopefully. You'll be able to get a good kick return to start the game, and we'll have a good start to our stream.
And just while we wait for the teams, well, they are taking the field, I just want to say that today's live stream is being brought to you by us, but we are sponsored today by Warlord, a new movie starring Billy Boyd from The Lord of the Rings, alongside cast members from Baldur's Gate 3, Harry Potter and Battlestar Galactica. It's out now on Amazon Prime.
Does that mean I get a premium meal deal instead of the normal one?
Yeah. You get and a Nando's, yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Anyway, let's go. Kickoff time.
We've got number 12, and that is Mark Amadou. And sorry, apologies. Still getting warmed up. And very patient.
Really nice hesitation there.
But there is a flag on the play. That looks like it's most likely going to be holding, I suspect, on the Olympians, given where the flag was thrown from, but we'll see where it came to. Really interesting how they managed to take what looked like a little bit of a lack of communication on who was going to return, but really nice patience.
And a little bit of hesitation, but that was almost like a draw play.
Yeah.
Deliberately just sort of sat back, waited for that opening and took it. Took the ball over the halfway line, but it has come back the Mavericks way, so it's just shy of the halfway line. We're 90-yard field here today, so 45-yard being the halfway line, just waiting for the ball to be placed down at around the 42, I would say. 1st and 10 for this Mavericks offense.
Great field position. You couldn't ask for anything better.
Great starting field position here for this first drive.
So for those of you looking for somebody to keep an eye out on defense, keep an eye out for number 59. He is the backer that does a lot of the blitz work and makes a lot of tackles in the run game for the O's. And incompletion there, trying to find Matthew Barber Street out wide. That was the quarterback, Joe Thompson. Showed a lot of prowess as a rusher, I think, this year.
Joe's, yeah.
Indeed.
Joe's big boy, isn't he?
He is. They run I've seen them run some very nice concepts to try and get him out as a rusher.
I mean, big athletic, not big lineman.
The arms, yeah.
That former London Warrior, London Blitz and Farnham Knight.
And see, once again, that one just in and out through the hands. You could tell that they wanted to pass. Number 79, that's Adam Chapman there. Almost a little bit of a full start trying to get into that pass set. You can see that they've clearly come out with the mindset they want to get the ball in the hands of their receivers and make them go and make plays in space. And I think that makes sense because there is some space to be found in that Olympian secondary if you can get the ball in the seams.
So 3rd and 10 when we recommence on this play.
You can see they've gone trips to the boundary side here, isolating that wide receiver outside on that slant. And there you go.
What a play.
Yeah, and that's something that you can see that they really want to get to. Like immediately, first drive, getting into third down, they put all of their receivers to the short side of the field, leaving that cornerback 1v1 with a very good receiver in Barber Street out there.
Hey, I think you've got to give a little bit of a shout out here to the offensive coordinator for sticking to the game plan. And a lot of coordinators there wouldn't have gone 3 passes in a row, or gone for that third pass, should I say, on
and there we go. We got
on third down.
We got our jet read there, so I didn't get proper eyes on the offensive line, so I couldn't see whether it was a power read or whether it was a midline read. But I've seen them use that concept quite a lot, where they send that guy in motion, they'll leave one of the defensive line to be optioned, not quite like the read option, a little bit different where you work into the play side, but you're really forcing that defensive lineman to go, am I going flat out with the jet, or am I going straight downhill, protecting my gaps for that quarterback? And that's a really difficult bind to put a defensive lineman in who's not necessarily used to having to read the game that way.
Absolutely. So it's 2nd and 1. A little bit of a scramble. Ends in an incomplete pass, so that'll bring up 3rd and 1. I'm just seeing the comments are going crazy, so I will start to catch up with them. I do like to have a bit of banter. We are up in a crow's nest today. I did say someone mentioned that. Beautiful angle. I'm extremely pleased. As I hope you are at home as well. We've got a lovely filming angle today, courtesy of the East Kent Mavericks, and I believe it's something they've actually paid for. They've got a scaffolding company in to put this tower up, so we'll all have the benefit of that. Hand off there to number 10, nicely wrapped up, and then a lovely little tag on the end of that, a little dink to let him know. Don't run across the middle.
Yeah, that was Scott O'Donnell coming in to make the tackle. You can see that they tried to get the pull around, but they weren't quite able to make a play. But it was only 1 yard. Like, you only needed a yard there. I do like the approach of, made a good play on 1st down, been given 2nd and 1. Let's try and see if we can push the ball much further than a yard before coming back to try and pick that up.
So for those of you that haven't figured it out yet, we did have a 2:30 kickoff. It was originally scheduled for 2. Kickoff was moved by the venue because they had this field partially hired out this afternoon. So sorry about that.
Yeah, and you can see that there was space to have that play. It ran a little sort of receiver snag, so the outside receiver coming and sitting inside about 5 yards deep, running back out on the swing, sort of trying to stretch that alley defender's zone there. But unfortunately, just once again, another pass that looked like it could have been complete, but just not quite on the same page.
So trips to the QB's left this time.
And that was number 59, as I highlighted earlier. That's Harold Carew coming in to make the tackle. And you can see the offensive line just not quite quick enough to be able to pick up the blocks. They came out quite fast on that screen, but you sort of need to be able to peel back and seal the backside, that flow that comes over from the box on those receiver screens, and they just weren't quite able to there. Really good job by the O's making it 3rd and 10.
As you can see on the left hash, lots of space over to the right-hand side of the field for the offense here. 3rd and, as you just said,
I'd expect
3rd and 10.
something to come over to number 0 or number 12 here. You can see the QB whispering for some sort of play there. Yeah, see number 0 audibled into some sort of fade to the red zone, but couldn't quite get the timing right there. You want to see a bit more touch on that type of throw, but when you're working to the boundary side of the field, there's not a lot of space to work with. So maybe you think should have maybe explored the field side, but once again, all that wind, very hard
that was
to push
thrown
that
with the
ball
wind.
across
Yeah.
field, yeah.
I'll come back to Ewan there, trying to tuck us up in our coverage, but. Ewan is one of the Sport Tank newly joined Sport Tank team members, but we'll get back to Ewan after this 4th and 10 field goal attempt.
And that is up, and that looks like it missed. That is Joel Hughes, unfortunately missing the field goal. Looked like good snap, good hold.
Yeah.
Probably trying to account for the wind a bit and make sure they didn't put it down the middle and have it blown across, but unfortunately just drifted to the right of the post.
It was like the wind stopped just for that kick. It was all very calm, wasn't it? And then now it's picked up again, but unpredictable. The kick certainly had the distance on it. Just the difficult to judge the accuracy with this.
It's not a day for punting. It's a day where one side you'll be able to flip the field with a punt, and on the other side you'll be lucky if it gets past the 1st down marker. It's be a difficult game, but interesting to see how the O's now come out and
they take over at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
big stumbling run there by the running back, and that will get them to 2nd and 2. I mean, you know, when you're drawing up your script as an offensive coordinator, you're not often expecting that your first play is going to get you 8 yards on an inside run. You're just hoping this will get us some.
That's not 8. That's not 8. I'd say that's a long 6.
Spot.
Yeah, but a great first down play. A great play for a first down. You know, again, that whole opening up your playbook, calming down the drive. Great defending there from the Mavericks.
Yeah, that was Lucas Warden, the linebacker, coming in to make the initial tackle. Looked like it was followed up by a couple of players there. And now you're in 3rd and 8, and this is where it gets a bit interesting, right? You know, you might have scripted some plays on your script. Do you still stay on script? Do you go to your 3rd down calls?
This is when the vuvuzelas really kick in. Why are they blowing them on offense? They didn't. Someone needs to speak to their supporters, because you shouldn't be making noise when your team's on offense. You don't want to ruin the cadence.
I think they might be the home fans.
Ah.
And pick goes in and out of the hands of number 13, Josh Bradley there.
You're quite right, it is the Mavericks home fans. I remember having, someone reminded me actually when I got here that I used foul language with someone who was supporting the use of vuvuzelas by the Mavericks. And they said that clip still goes around their little group chat every now and then. But yeah, it is the Mavericks.
They need to get themselves ready.
The worst thing in the world, a vuvuzela. There's nothing worse. They're worse than flies. Anyway, 4th and 6, and we've got our first punt of the game.
And that punt is away by James Bush there. Takes an interesting bounce. It looks like they're going to leave it alone, and it rolls out somewhere between the 29 and the 30. And Mavericks will be on offense. They've had some nice field position to start the drive so far. First one just short of midfield. Second drive starting on the 30. Obviously should have come away with at least 3 points on the last drive. So.
Yep.
They need to get points quickly. You know, when you're playing a team like the Olympians, we've seen they're not a high-scoring team. They only eclipsed 20, I believe, once this year when they played Essex Tridents, and they were able to get 37 in that game. The rest of it, they've just sort of been a cushion and clock type of team.
Yeah.
Suddenly, these drives, you know, they can get away from you if you don't find yourself.
But these teams have cancelled each other out. You know, I think we've had 3 touchdowns apiece across the season between these sides, right? So like it will well. We should expect, you know, stingy scoreline today.
Yeah, and you see there so they've switched it up. So obviously earlier on we saw them putting receivers to the field side to try and the boundary side to try and create that space for that matchup on the outside. This time they're trying to use that field side and get that smash, but unable to get that ball deep enough. They made a switch at QB as well. Is that a switch? No,
that's
switch
Joe.
at QB. That's still 15. When both potential QBs wear 5 and 15, no numbers on their shoulders, a bit hard to see. But the QB's dropping back, finds number 5 on that slant, and that's Matthew Barber Street taking the ball again, and that will be a first down. You can see that the Olympians are going to have to try and do something to take that away, because otherwise that's
they're just
going to
keep hitting it. They're going to keep hitting it, keep targeting that area of the field, because that's got their first down so far, both of their first downs.
Yeah, and the Olympians have quite a lot of young players in their squads. Maybe a lot of them might have not played this type of level of game before, and so you know, it's going to be a real learning experience for some of them, being able to make those types of adjustments on the fly. And that's a big catch there by number 0, still trying to find some yards, and that is Saquon Gill making that play. Recently announced as being one of the many high-level players that are going to be involved in the Elite Fives tournament.
Good
Will be coming up sort of early autumn, late summer.
Yeah, in Hertfordshire. I'm looking forward to that.
Should be very good.
Just a little bit of knowledge here about James Bush. When he was at Exeter Demons, he hit 30, 50-plus yard field goals in the same game. James Bush, I didn't realise he played for the O's. He's one of my favourite players in Britball. Anyone that sort of follows our coverage over the years knows that I've always been a big fan of his.
And that's a very nice play there out to Benjamin Crabb, the running back. And you see earlier on in the red zone, they tried to get that type of concept working, that running back swing, and somebody sitting in behind trying to high-low those linebackers out there. Didn't work very well, but now they've made a little change. They've flipped their receiver number 12, who I would share his name if I had a number 12 on my sheet, with number 10 going out into the slot. We'll see what they've got in play for that. Send him in motion. And fake the... And nearly made the play out there. You see they got that fake fake swing screen, tried to get that ball deep, but there's a flag at the line. I suspect that's probably going to be holding.
So I'll flash it up again, but the Stallions are 14-0 up over the Thrashers in the other SFC 1 semi-final game. So winners of that game will be playing the winners of this in the final. Referee just confirms that was a hold, 10 yards, repeat the down.
And that's the most frustrating type of call as an OC, because when you call a play like that, the defensive linemen are not really very likely to make an impact, even with a little pass fake on that. You expect you're going to be able to get that ball out so quickly that you shouldn't really need to hold there. You've got to be a bit better in that situation, because now you're in 1st and 20 and it's a very different type of drive.
Yeah. Takes the wind out of the sails, that sort of penalty, doesn't it?
Well, as much as you can with the wind as it is.
Yeah, I wish it did actually, yeah.
And so that was
that ball hit like the air monster, didn't it? Like
it did, but I would like to talk about that concept, as most of you will know stick. The stick concept, you send the inside guy on a little hitch, you have an outside guy on a flat, and your widest outside player on that deep out, bread and butter football concept. But a way to mix it up is to run what we call shock, where actually the slot receiver, he runs that inside sort of slot fade, and the outside guy runs 5-yard hitch, just to create a different way to get to it. I expect we'll see that later on in this game as well. And he's still on his feet. And that is a touchdown there for Joel Hughes. And that gets our first points on the board. He's a very talented receiver. He made an absolutely fantastic catch against us when we played in our high-scoring 29-40 game before. And really impressive work to get that yards after the catch on. Well, it wasn't a particularly complicated concept, it was just sort of post/slants with something coming out underneath. And just seems like the O's are really having trouble getting sticky coverage at the moment. Anything that's sort of breaking over the middle of the field, I think they're going to really have to think about how they use their safeties and their nickel defenders to try and take away that space on the field for the Mavericks.
And he's coming on to kick his own extra point.
And we've got a flag on the outside, so let's see if they...
That's probably an offside and a declined.
We'll just wait. You wouldn't want to go for 2 from the 1-yard line. In a game like this, every point might count.
It's a good point.
It looks like they're going to decline though.
Declined, yeah.
If this comes out to be a 1-2 point game.
I know. You'll rue these decisions potentially. But so after that first score, we're 7-0. East Kent Mavericks, still in the first quarter. I think certainly the East Kent Mavericks have, it's obvious from the scoreboard, but they've had the better start out of the gates, as it were. Probably being horses, that would make sense. The Olympians, I think what we've seen in the comments, what we've seen ourselves, need to tighten up a little bit on this in this secondary.
They need to wake themselves up. They've come out and they have played very flat. They had a really nice start to their first drive, but then they made a mistake and managed to find themselves in a difficult situation to convert. Their defense, has made some plays, but they're a good defense at stopping the run. They're not bad in pass defense, but when they're spreading the field so much and they're giving themselves 2 or 3 opportunities per set of downs to throw the ball, they're going to get first down from those. So they do need to find a way to either mix things up and get some pressure. Obviously, we saw the holding call. Can you send some more pressure on that side of the line and attack it? Or can you find a way to create more numbers advantages on either side to take away that space that the Mavs have been able to exploit so far?
Wembley Stallions, we've got, I don't know if it's confirmation, but information that they've gone 21-0 up in their game. So,
I don't know if SJ is a reliable source.
Yeah, he's probably lying to us.
No, 21-0 is a very interesting scoreline. I think it's very difficult to assess a team like Wembley that's playing in what I would regard as quite a weak division compared to some of the other divisions. Obviously, they ran away with it, and you're sort of like, you could be a very good team. You could be a team that's doing really well against competition that isn't quite
I've got to admit,
level.
I thought they would have a tighter game against the Olympians. And someone's asked me about my prediction of this game, so I keep getting them all mixed up. Solent, thank you. But yeah, someone's asked me about prediction of this game. I am predicting East Kent Mavericks to win. But I think it's going to be a close one. I don't feel very confident.
And that was number 14 there with the carry. That is Babafunmi Faloda, sorry. And yeah, I mean, it was a nice sort of concept, trying to pin pull and get to the edge. I saw that quite a few times when we went up against them. They didn't go to it quite as much early on, I found. They tried to sort of use more conventional ways to run the ball, and then once they tried to sort of stretch you out, they tried to then get that working where they can sort of attack the vertical spaces that open up when linebackers flow side to side.
Yep.
So, you know, maybe if they're reaching into that bag of tricks now, that might be saying that they're finding it's going to be tough to move the ball. And that's picked off there by number 2, Kai Osborne, and he's got a block for the return. He's going down the sideline, and he is just out of bounds. It seems to be whistled out of bounds quite early down at the 2 there. Sorry, down at the 10 yard
yeah,
line. It looked like he didn't. He looked like he might have been in bounds, but you know, blue lines.
Oh, they've just thrown a really late flag here. I don't know who it's on. The referee was by a couple of East Kent players, but it looks like an O's player's pointing towards the East Kent sideline. Not sure what this one is.
Personally, I'm never going to say that a flag for celebration on East Kent is ever unnecessary, because they get away with. I would say that not get away is the wrong phrase to use, but they make celebrating one of the things that they really lean into, and it's something that's important.
I don't think that was a flag for celebration. It was very late. It was after the players had dispersed from the celebration and were jogging back to the sideline. I think it may have been foul language or some sort of interaction between players.
I think my overall sentiment is that they very much enjoy playing with freedom. But they, you know, it can extend, and when that's not something that you see in Britball very often, you know, not a lot of teams take that approach. It's obviously very easy to see how teams, and you just got to really, you know, you've got to rein that in. You cannot have plays like that put your offense in that kind of situation like this. Obviously, they're still at the 25, still a great play, but you know, you want to see them be able to, you know, keep that professionalism a little bit more. Oh, and fumbled by the QB, but he seems to have recovered it. We see that Jet Reed play again, and very lucky to not have ended up giving the ball straight back. And
the Olympians just smashed that to pieces, didn't they, that play?
And I think that's something that I would expect to see some sort of jet play action later on, because it's something that the East Kent Mavericks have put on tape quite a lot. It's a way that they can get 2 really explosive athletes to have opportunities to get massive yards with the ball. So they're probably quite keen to make sure that they've got answers to that play.
So 2nd and 8 here.
And hit off the hands of Saquon Gill. And you can see that they're trying to find those isolation matchups. They're able to generate it again. And you're in a bit of a tricky situation if you're the O's, because with the athletes you've got outside, they're very good vertically. So you can't come up and press them and take away that space. But if you don't, then you're going to give up the easy stuff like that. And if you try and get extra eyes on those players, then that means you're giving up box fits. That means you're giving up other things. So it's a very difficult challenge to try and contain all of these pieces on the Mavericks offense. And in and out the hands there of number 12. And the thing that I found quite interesting on that last play was that the Olympians defense went into that too high look, but that extra defender, that nickel defender, they carried him over and had him to the boundary, which is interesting because you've got less players on that side of the field, or less space on that side of the field, but they wanted to put that extra defender there to take away that space. So what is it that they're seeing that's leading them to do that? And have the Mavericks spotted it, and are they able to attack that 2-by-2 combination on the field side where there is a little bit more space as Joel Hughes comes out to kick the field goal.
Maverick extraordinaire.
And he gets that kick up, and it looks good from here, and it is good.
This is great play from the Mavericks. They've gone 10-0 up, almost, I don't want to say with ease, but they've executed and they're putting points on the board, and that's the difference between the two teams at the moment, right? Like the Olympians aren't actually stringing plays together when they get the ball. Certainly, obviously, not putting anything up. But I think it's just it feels like it's just a momentum thing, and that the Olympians will put points on the board. That will come, but will it be too little, too late at that point? Because the Mavericks are just, you know, as we've seen with a 2-point and a 1-point difference in the previous 2 games they've had this season. You know, a 10-point lead is quite significant.
I think, yes, I think the thing that's interesting to me is that I don't think the Mavericks have executed that well so far. Think about how many drops you've had. They've put themselves in position to take a lot of opportunities, and they have maximised on some of them, but they're still not executing at full cylinders. We saw them put the ball on the floor multiple times on that drive.
But
there is an avenue I can see to where this can actually get very out of hand if they can start executing. Because at the moment, you know, their drives are taking a fair few plays. These drives could have been 3 plays. You know, and you see all the O's there. One of their players late to the kickoff, kick return unit. I think the O's seem a little bit like they aren't quite prepared for the matchup they've got going on today.
Nice.
But that's a nice return by number 12, and that's a Medu, Mark Medu making as many yards as you can find. Sorry, Amadou Mark, apologies. But yeah, the O's definitely need to find a way to get the ball moving on this drive. I would recommend maybe trying some runs to the left-hand side. It seems like the offensive lineman they had on the right-hand side maybe didn't quite have the matchups we saw in that previous run play, that they weren't quite able to block up as they wanted to. Pardon me, apologies. And so we see them got a tight end in the formation to the left side, sort of create a trips look. And so we get that counter-style handoff, opening up some space through that B gap off to the right-hand side. And you know, now is when you really need to build off it, right? You've got your 4 yards on first down, and unfortunately we've got an injury on the field, so hopefully that player's okay there. And if anything, as an offensive coordinator, you might actually appreciate that, right? You've got this, not obviously you don't want any players injured, but you do have that little bit of time where you can just think, right, this is actually really important.
Yeah, a bit of breathing space. It's been high octane, hasn't it? So
it
far?
has. It hasn't been. Yeah, it's been very relentless. And now you've got 2nd and 6, and you can think to yourself, right, okay, how am I going to attack this? Do I want to put the ball in the air twice? Do I want to run the ball, see if I can get a 3rd and manageable? Do you want to come up with some sort of shot play? Like, there's lots of different things that you can try and do here, and we'll see what they do. I mean, their offensive coordinator on their side is sort of an air raid guy, so he likes to run a lot of the same sort of plays and just rely on that execution as opposed to trying to go deep into a bag of tricks. But obviously it is the playoffs, so we'll see what they've come up with as they go with their sort of short stack to the boundary, with tight end in on the left. We've got the tight end leaking away, but unfortunately the QB goes down there, and with the loss of the helmet, that means they've got to put in a new QB for what is going to be, it looks like, based on where the judge is ruling him down on the sideline, 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much like exactly the types of situations like you don't want to have. Like, you really needed to get yourself in, either to be able to get yourself the opportunity to have a shot.
They've stayed on the back foot, you know, and or, you know, again, you can flip that round. The Mavericks have managed to keep the O's on the back foot here.
And I think we'll let this play carry out, and then we'll have a chat about what the O's Mavs are doing on defense, because they're obviously causing a lot of stress for them. As unfortunately that ball is not picked off by Connor Carroll there, number 40. And it's quite fascinating with the Mavs, because I saw them in the warm-ups, they were sort of in a 4-2 on defense, which surprised me because they've been using a 3-3 stack all year. And the 3-3 stack does pose a lot of issues, because you're able to use those defensive linemen to try and control 2 gaps, and the linebackers in behind have that freedom to be able to kind of scrape over the top and flow side to side to be able to make plays in the run game. But switching to what is normally a more conventional front seems to have really caused the O's problems early on so far, being able to move the ball. And you wonder how much of that is because of those little tiny schematic adjustments compared to the O's just maybe not seeming to be on top of their game right now to start off with. and we can see the Mavs sideline team. They're not being complacent. They're very frustrated that they weren't prepared as they wanted to be for that.
Yeah, had to take the time out.
And that's a good thing to see at this point. You know, you want teams to be like, right, we're 10-0 up, but this is the first quarter. We've got a long game of football to play. Just because the other team hasn't started out hot, that shouldn't mean that we suddenly slow down.
No, yeah, you've got to capitalise on this stuff. So you've got Gill and Barber Street here, just getting back to
Don't
return the
punt.
punt. No, I know. And is it Bush?
It is. It's your favourite. It's
James Bush.
Yes.
Man, he's just an absolute legend. Look at him back there, cool as a cucumber.
Pretty good punt given the wind, and it's got a nice bounce. And we'll see what kind of return we can get. That looks like a block in the back that's not called. And we get him out to 28.
There's a flag on the far side of the field. Might that be sideline? You know, sideline infraction? It just seems.
I'm not sure, but
just to show you guys on the live stream there. That's that blue line. I don't even know you can see it. It's a blue line. You'd sort of see it just behind and in front of the ref. The one that the ref has stood on with his toes. That's the sideline. It's really, really difficult to see. What was the penalty? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
We are just learning. I also didn't see, but
it was
like
on the Mavs,
back.
And the ball was coming back to the 21-yard line.
And I think this is one of those things where normally when you've got a four-man crew on a lot of these special teams plays, you see a lot of blocks in the back in Britball generally, but a lot of them don't get called, and then you get to a point where you've got a larger reffing crew that might see some of those infringe it. And
it's always play football, isn't it? Seven refs. Is it a 7-ref crew today?
Yeah, given that spot, I wonder if it's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, it's got to be a 15-yarder. Got to be. That's the 10-yard line they've gone back to.
And that seems to be the only problem that you can really fault for the Mavs, other than their drops so far, has been their discipline on various plays. Nice simple inside handoff there to number 10. And he's able to make a lot of yardage. Looks to be about 12 yards there. And that says a lot about how this game has started off so far. The O's on what should be a very simple fit your gaps, make the tackle. Nobody's there to be able to make the play, and you know, it's not good. And just to come back to David Crane, the field markings aren't too bad when you're here in person, but I can appreciate it's very difficult to see blue lines on a green field.
Yeah, on the camera
stream.
it's impossible.
Yeah. And so we see that the looks like the O's sort of adjusting into more of their middle of the field close look here, trying to get that extra box fit defender downfield. A nice catch by Saquon Gill there, and a good job bringing a lot of bodies over to come and make the play. Among those was number 26, and that's Oludomala Agunbiadi. And so now we're at 2nd and 7 here. It's the first sort of real positive play made by the O's defense. Let's see what they can do here. QB scrambling, finding some yardage. It's a good tackle made there, but not enough to stop them getting a first down. And if you're watching this, I think one of the key indicators to sort of see what the Olympians are trying to do in defence is looking at their number 18, and that is Damilola Ian. And you can see he sort of always starts about 10 to 12 yards off, but does he sort of rotate down? Does he stay where he is? That sort of real indicator as the type of coverages that they're trying to play. Yeah. And you can see that they're varying it up quite a bit now, which tells me that they're unsure. They don't seem like they've got a real concrete plan for how they want to try and prevent this Mavs team from going.
They're a little bit lost at the moment, and I'd say a little bit flat as well. The Olympians, but they benefit there from a 10-yard, I assume, a holding penalty.
And I would definitely expect
second and 13
to come in on a blitz here. He's walking about trying to.
Yeah, you see him there in the middle.
Go. He's going, gets two people on him, but they managed to get another person through, and QB just had to throw the ball away here. And this is where the Olympians' defense is very strong. When they can get you behind the sticks and they can put you in positions where they can play around up front and either show blitz and drop off, or they can send a blitz through. That's where they can be really dangerous. When they can bring pressure down onto the QB and force you to make those decisions quicker, that obviously helps their coverage players a lot more. And if they can do a better job on first down and try and generate more of these situations, I think they'll find themselves starting to get back into the game. But watch this matchup of number 25 on Saquon Gill down at the bottom of the screen on the isolation side. That's not a matchup I would be particularly thrilled about if I was a defensive coordinator. And we see there, he just about unable to come up with the catch. And you can see what they were trying to do there. They were trying to motion number 12 across and try and force players to move over to create that window. But I think next time, if I was the Mavs OC, I would maybe be thinking to myself, actually, if we've got that type of look, let's leave it there, because there's no way that that defender can keep up with him 1v1 if you just leave him isolated on his own.
I think this is potentially fairly a significant moment in the game. This is the territory game is now being lost by the East Kent for the first time this game, right? They're now on the back foot. They're in their red zone, making a punt. Obviously, you know, that plays into the hands of the O's, but it's whether they can capitalise on that.
Yeah.
So this could be a turning point here.
And almost.
Whoa, how far that ball's gone.
Number 14 there receives it, gets a nice block from his second receiver, but the ball's on the ground, and I think it looks like he was able to get hands on it, but we'll see. We never know what happens at the bottom of these piles. And he did manage to recover it again. So that was Babafunmi Falade there with impressive job to even catch that return. You can see he misjudged it a little bit and had to take a couple steps extra back. And ball security clearly going to be an important factor as we go through the game. We've seen both teams now have at least one fumble that they were fortunate to recover still.
Yeah.
But that's something that I think we might see creep through the game. You know, when the first time these teams matched up, I think East Kent threw 4 picks in that game.
Right.
Like the turnovers are going to be really key to watching as this game continues to get better. Or continues to develop, sorry. You see the QB being forced to run out here.
Oh, wow.
There's a big tackle in there, and that looks like Bij Fard coming in to make the tackle there. And this QB's just really struggling to get any time or open receivers currently, Brandon Field.
That's a dream situation for a defender, chasing down a QB like that. You know, second man to do it, so he's already being flushed out. And just close him down and bring him down. Great play. I mean, loss of it looks about 11-yard loss on that play. So yeah, just over 10. Second and 21, and just
talked about the field position battle. They finally got some, and then
they just
it. We'll see what they've got as an answer on second down.
I mean, the punt really did help. Let's face it, there was a very tricky punt to handle, but.
Number 10 has the ball, and he's down the sideline. He should go all the way. Only one person to beat, Kai Osborne. He slips inside, and a great job there by Jordan Legg, managed to chase that down. And that is incredible. They just flip the field on one of the easiest plays you will see. You know, everybody gets on Madden, they go into trips, they run their all verts, and you can see they're just able to find that space on the sideline there. We saw the cornerback, number 40, that was Connor Carroll, sort of showing that outside leverage, trying to funnel inside. QB did a great job of just spotting that, what we call the hole shot, sort of that 20 to 25 yard space on the sideline where the transition happens between the corner and the safety, and that sort of cover 2 look on that vertical. He put the ball right in that spot, back shoulder, and he was able to go and make that play after. Really exactly what the O's offense needed at this point in the game, as they now move into what looks to be an unbalanced set with 4 strong to the left.
So it's first and goal from the 5.
And they've got a holding call there, unfortunately, on number 77, and he's going to start a fight after with number 54. And that is exactly the opposite of what they needed. They've already lost 10 yards for the hold that they're going to whistle on him. So if they're not going to if they throw the flag there, that could put them back 15 yards. It was unnecessary as well. I mean, the hold it's a bad call, because the thing is, with an offensive lineman, you have to keep moving your feet. Anytime your feet get stagnant, you've lost the play.
Yeah.
So he gets there, he's got his, sorry, none of the viewers can see this,
Yeah,
but I just know
He's
to explain this
himself
properly, I'm
perfectly,
having to pick myself up on Steve here. But he got his hands there and he stops running his feet, and so he does that twisting motion, which a lot of referees don't always call in these games. It's really hard, obviously, with those 4-man crews, but now you've got those extra referees
I
on
think
the field,
as soon as one of your elbows is extended away from your body, that's a hold. Like like that's almost like what the refs are looking for, is that one elbow extended away. You know, and that's either way, but mostly for O-line, right?
And I think that's the matchup that I think that's something that this Mavs defense is going to have to attack, right? Like, I think you've seen from the runs that they've tried to have to that side, he's not very good at being able to reach and seal on those blocks in the same way that maybe some other tackles might be able to. It's a really tough part of being a tackle, is being able to get around the outside of a D end and be able to pin them and get that leverage. But so far, I think he seems like he's struggling with his matchup that he's got opposite him, number 54, Liam Sabanda. And I think you might want to maybe consider, do you start sending more pressure through that side? Do you really try and make it difficult for them on that right side? Yeah,
of course. Like, if someone's hot, you know,
right?
Yeah, because he's going to make silly decisions. You know, obviously he needs to calm down, but if you're the defensive coordinator or even the defensive captain, you'd be like, get at him, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I think you can see from his stance. I think he's a bit of a younger player. You know, he might be less experienced. So, you know, those are the types of things you need to look for as a defense. Try and see if you can capitalise on it. As they go into a 2-back set here, and motion number 10 across the field. Good block there by number 20, but unable to maintain the block, as we get a sort of high-low tackle there. We've got number 4, Ian Whitehead, coming to make the play. Couldn't see the other defender that went low on that tackle. And now we have a timeout called. I think that's by the Mavericks.
Just wait for the ref to confirm. Hopefully we'll get a time check as well. No?
We might have been asking for a time check, but made the universal timeout hand. So I think Tam makes an interesting point, asking about players and their emotions and whatnot. And I think a lot of that is practice. You know, we can come back to that a little bit later actually, but we'll see what the O's have in store on 2nd and goal. As they drop back here, running a little bit of mesh, get the ball in the hands of number 36, but good tackle there by Ian Whitehead again. Yeah, so let's go back to what you're saying, Tam. I think a lot of it comes from you need to have practice regularly. It needs to be at a high level. It needs to be contact, and you need to have that intensity going constantly, because when you put your players in pressure situations in practice, that's how they learn and get themselves ready for games. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in games and you're not going to be used to that feeling of that tension, and that's how you can end up in difficult situations. I think that it's often very easy for people to look at it and sort of think, oh, how can you not control yourself, or how do you maybe get a bit hot? But you know, it's very much that emotional side. You need to practice the same way as the physical side, and that's all practice.
So third and 9 here, or 3rd and goal from the 9, should I say?
And it should.
Ooh.
And it looks like that QB took a really big hit there.
There's a punishing hit there.
Number 52 coming in to make the tackle, that's Daniel Collado.
Something that I've noticed on this East Kent Mavericks defence, I think the QB, he was sort of being helped up, but he is back down. We are going to take a brief break while he gets tended to. Hopefully he's okay. But something I've noticed about this defence is, once they are seeing the commitment to a run, there is a huge amount of players that are pursuing that goal line and making their way to that ball. It doesn't matter where they are on the field, they're swarming really nicely, but they're very quick about coming back down towards the ball.
Yeah, and I think that one of the interesting things on that last play is that I think that should have been a touchdown. Like, you saw number 84 came in motion, number 4 came and followed him across, and he sort of ran back. If you remember the Super Bowls most recently where the Chiefs were in, they ran that sort of, it's what they call sort of a zipper motion.
Yep.
When he comes across, looks like it's some sort of short or jet motion, then he actually explodes out the opposite way. And where that guy's coming across in man coverage, you know, they then end up sort of, oh shoot, I've got to go and turn out back the other way. And he was wide open on the back corner to the end zone. QB didn't quite see him, or maybe felt that pressure coming through, and he rolls out. And that would have been a really big moment if they could have made that play. And now instead, unfortunately, we've got a QB who looks to be a bit banged up and injured. And so now, 4th down, and you've got to try and find points. And do you kick the field goal? With the wind, it's not a guarantee. Do you go for the touchdown and see if your defence can, with all of that field behind you and putting them in the end zone, can you now get a bit more pressure?
I think given the fact that QB's just gone off, a field goal is the right option here. You've got James Bush.
Fake field goal?
Mate, I was going to say, if you can fake it, all the better. But I think let's get it to a 1-score game. You know, start to you know, build a little bit of belief and close the gap. Particularly, I said, in the face of the fact that your QB's just gone off. I think this is the right choice. But I do love it when I do love fakies.
And it looks like the Mavericks have called a timeout here. So we will see what happens.
Looking at yeah, we got it, mate. Just players asking us if, well, the one player, is it Kai Osborne, got the pick. Just asked if we got it. Of course we got it, Kai. Enjoy watching it back. Wembley are currently 28-6 over the Thrashers at half-time there in the other semi-final of the SFC 1. Well, we see if the Olympians can close this to a single-score game.
Didn't quite lose a football, so that's all.
I thought it was gone. I thought it was gone. I don't know. Maybe I'm no good at reading trajectories, but that looked like it was in the field, but it wasn't. Anyway, 10-3 here. We're still in Q1, first quarter. We've got to be knocking the door of the second quarter here.
An interesting game so far. It feels like it could be sort of 3 scores out of hand to the Mavericks. It also seems like it could be actually almost closer than it is. It's really, and this is the thing that I think is really fascinating about this matchup, right? Because they've played 2 games so far. 1 point separates them in total across those 2 matchups. You've had both sides have shown a capability to move the ball really well on offense, and yet when they've played against each other, they have sort of had these spells where they seem to stall them out. And I think that the Mavericks right here need to drive the field, because if they stall out and they let this game get into the mud the way that the O's want to play, then I think it's a close game. But if they can go and get some points here, then the game feels very different.
I'm surprised that wasn't a fair catch there. Get it back to the 25. He did anyway, actually, so maybe I'll shut up. But fielding the ball with inside the 5, when you can just fair catch it and get it to the 25.
I think after the first return you had, where we got the end of the quarter there now.
Sort of back yourself, don't you?
Yeah, like I think there were quite a lot of O's players jogging on that unit. You've probably got to feel quite confident that you can just try and find a lane and make something happen. So, and it's very rare that you see players call a fair catch on kick return in this country outside of.
I've seen it a little bit more, mostly in the Prem this season. But yeah, so just while we're changing ends for the quarter, today's game's being brought to you courtesy of our sponsor Warlord, a new movie starring Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings, alongside cast members from Baldur's Gate 3, Harry Potter, and Battlestar Galactica. It's out now on Amazon Prime, so go and watch it. Turn this off, turn this live stream off, and go and watch Warlord.
I don't blame you. I'm sure all of those, all of the cast members have much more enjoyable voices to listen to.
Yeah, we don't know what we're on about. We're just talking nonsense. They've got a script. And they got they're elves as well, which is amazing.
And so the Mavericks coming out in a sort of A-star look as they get a handoff there to the running back that's swallowed up. And this is exactly the situation that we talked about the O's wanting to find themselves in. Number 3 for them, that is Scott O'Donnell coming in again and making a good play. And so now get yourself in 2nd and 12. Do you heat them up? Do you show some pressure and drop off? How do you try and take advantage of stalling the Mavs out on that first down?
This is a very entertaining game. I'll watch Warlord after. Kyra's off to watch Warlord. Good stuff, guys. That's what I want to hear. I can feed this back to our sponsors.
So,
I do love the Britball community.
And so it looked like we were going to get a little swing screen out there, but the QB tucked at himself and had many Olympians coming in to make the tackle there, one of which being number 6, Hamed Osho. And so now they find themselves in what looks to be maybe about a 3rd and 8 or so.
Yeah, ball's around the 30-yard line, their own 30-yard line there.
It'd be very interesting to see what the Mavericks come out and do from this look, coming out and spreading things out, but we know that they also like to run some motion as well.
They've got to like kill the spirit of the O's here, because the O's are starting to get a little bit behind them, aren't they? They're starting to get a bit more vocal from the sidelines, a little bit more snappy in their movement, and the Mavericks have got to contain that. And
incomplete there, and you can see they just wanted to try and get a short ball out to Teju, and just try and, you know, get the ball in the hands of one of their guys. Don't try and, you know, push the ball downfield. Let's get the ball out quickly and see if we can go and make some yards with our legs. It's obvious that they're aware that the O's like to bring pressure, especially when you get into those situations where you're behind the stick. So I wonder if maybe part of that's also to do with the wind as well. They flip sides of the field, and I don't think the wind's quite in their favour now.
That was their first series facing this way. Yeah, it's a good point.
You wonder if maybe if the wind isn't a problem, they go back to what we saw a little bit earlier on, which was trying to push those receivers downfield to create that space, rather than trying to take the quick space that's given to them pre-snap and make plays after.
The ball held up nicely in the air there. Fielded just in front of us, roughly around midfield, stepped out of bounds. I mean,
yeah, solid return there by...
you can't tell.
Solid return there by Damilola. And we can see the difference in what the wind does, right? Like number 23 for the Mavericks, John Ellender, before he bombed the previous punt that they had from this side of the field, and then suddenly he flipped fields and it's not coming through quite as well, so you can really see that impact that the wind is having.
So someone here just asking what happens if Wembley win. So if Wembley win, then they will host the winner of this game, because they are the highest remaining seed.
Just to confirm on the O side, sorry, good to see that the QB is back in the game now, Brandon Field.
Yeah, good to see. And then the winner of that game, so Wembley versus, well, if Wembley wins, sorry, I'm just being assumptive there, but if let's just say hypothetically Wembley win that, Wembley would then play either the Mavericks or the Olympians based on this game, and the winner of that game would then play either the Cheetahs or the Cambridgeshire Cats. Most likely to be the Cheetahs, but could also be the Cambridgeshire Cats. And we won't find out until
next... number 84,
Whoa!
and he's got a lane, and he is going, and he is running. Only Biz can catch him, but he's in.
Wow, what a play.
That is a touchdown. Great play there by Chimoy Young, going all the way, and they have been whistled for a flag there, which I find surprising, because
please don't be a celebration flag.
I have been under the impression from BAFTA officials in previous games that you are allowed to celebrate out of the back of the end zone, as that is not on the field.
He put his arms in the air as he crossed the threshold, and I hope that's not what they flagged him for.
That, yes, I can understand, but I was surprised then that the side judge watching in front of that wouldn't have thrown that same flag.
Yeah. I must admit, right, you know, in the games we've live streamed and games I've seen online, the refs haven't been, and thankfully haven't been applying that rule to the letter of the law. And they have let, you know, they're giving people a little ticking off, like, come on, you know, you just got to be a bit more contained when you celebrate away. And you're quite right, celebrate outside the back of the end zone. I think that's okay.
And it wasn't over excessive.
Yeah,
they tried to gesture it, like, you know. So from what I've had explained to me by officials before is, like, you know, you can go at the back of the end zone, you can celebrate with your teammates. If we start to gesture you away, sort of say, all right, guys, you can wrap it up there and move on. Then, you know, if you're taking long after that, then we can throw the flag. But also, you know, that was almost kind of self-policing, where you might end up with a delay of game in that situation, right?
Blocked! And picked up.
But
no.
Not able to be returned. But yeah, sorry, to go back to that point, I think it would just be good going forward into next season for there to be sort of some real clarity, and for them to allow there to be some celebration that isn't in the face of the opponent offensive to them, because I very much understand the perspective of you don't want people to be doing things that might incite violent incidents on the field, because it's a very hot game, and so you don't want people to be doing all sorts of dances and things that might
I love all that. And the whole taunting thing, I don't see it as a problem. It's just, you see it in cricket and everyone's fine with it. You know, the wicket keeper's gobbing off to someone and they're having a bit of a laugh.
But that's the thing.
I don't see why in this sport we're so stringent against celebrations and taunting. I don't think anything should be. I think it should be above board. Like you know, someone gets personal or particularly nasty. Yeah, that should be flagged, and that sort of.
I think we should,
bringing the game into disrepute.
I think we should be able to go to the standards that you're able to get in other leagues that play this.
Be able to cut my ear to the opposition sideline and run down it after I've picked the ball off. Look, that's what was like, and the celebrations I've said from a media perspective for a number of years. Like, I just think that you think about the highlight reels that you would be able to make from all the different celebrations. The amount of people you draw into the game just by wanting to watch that stuff.
Massive boom.
Ridiculous kick. Oh my God.
And he's returning it, and he's not going to be able to find a real lane there. He's already stepped out of bounds. Let's see where they mark him.
I mean, that was kicked from about the 20, wasn't it?
No, that was the 15.
The 15, and it went...
And that's gone down to their 13-yard line. And it was caught further back now. That's an incredible kick.
It was inside the 10, yeah.
By your Brit Ball crusher today, James Bush.
He's a legend.
And yeah, I mean, absolutely massive for the O's. And like, this is why we were talking about the Mavs on that earlier drive. They really need to keep their foot on their neck and try and move the ball, because now you're only 1 point ahead, going against the wind, deep in your half, and the O's have their tail up. And both of the scores have come off one play.
And the O's again, you know, they've got this dominance in terms of just the territory game. You're not looking at scores or plays, but just look at where the ball is, and it's favouring the O's in the last couple of series. It's just, you know, and obviously we've seen them score, but it's something that the Mavs have to turn around pretty quick.
And we can see that they've immediately gone back to the guy they tried to get the ball in the hands earlier, Matthew Barber Street on the outside. And you can just see the difference in this O's defence now. Like, on first down, normally their box has generally been a bit conservative. Saw number 59, almost looks like he's dancing out there, going in and out and back and side to side, trying to confuse the offensive line as to where he might be going.
There's a lot of pre-snap movement from him in there,
And you can see that they're in this game now, you know. They've woken up, they're ready for it. So really fascinating to see how this goes back and forth as they motion the receiver to create trips into the boundary, isolating Saquon Gill at the top there, and immediately looks for him on that slant. Nice. He gets it this time, but a couple guys coming in for the tackle, and they look like they've got a first down to the 31-yard line. And I think that's what I expect more from the Mavericks. We saw them earlier sort of maybe going into a trips look and motioning into it to try and get some sort of passing play working. I think I would expect to see more of this, where actually they line up in that spread look, they take somebody away to try and take advantage of the one-on-one. But do the Olympians start to pick that up and recognise it and start to double down a bit and actually put that extra defender over there and expect them to try and exploit that space when they move somebody away from him?
I mean, I'd say that the Olympians look a lot more comfortable out there on defence than they have done.
Like a massive push-off that was ignored.
Did it? I thought that was just a little bit of a coming together of the lower bodies.
We love a coming together with receivers where they use two hands to get space.
Yeah.
Put it this way, as somebody who coaches receivers, I'll normally tell guys, put your hand on the hip because you can push off there, and it's a good anchor, and the other person's going to go flying, and it looks like you just snapped him off. And the fact that you didn't think it was a push-off means that he's doing it very well, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't have eyes on it, but it just didn't. It looked from the from my peripheral vision, it just looked innocuous, but. It could have been something.
It's never innocuous, Steve. There's always something going on.
You sneaky offensive coordinators.
As they do get the hands in Barber Street's hands, ball in Barber Street's hands, as a few players come in and make that tackle there. And so it looks like it's going to be, I think it's third down.
3rd and 3, roughly, from where the ref stood there. Yeah. People saying if you score, if you do score, celebrate with your teams, but be classy. I just think you should go all out, like river dance. I don't care, honestly. Just have fun. And if someone's got a problem with it, then like what? So they should have a rule against that? Like,
so
I just don't get it.
Motioned away. Let's see if they look to attack Barber Street or no. They've gone with QB run, and a very good tackle there by number 17. That is Sadrak Shibola making the play as they managed to move the chains anyway and get a first down.
Oh look, we've been tagged in an Instagram post from the Mavs, top of our little tower here.
All right. The Paps are in full force today. Many photographers from Britball here
I'm
today.
extremely photogenic, so that's why, you know. Anyway.
We've got the screen pass out to Matthew Barber Street. And a big tackle there by number 59 coming in to make the play. And mention him at the top as a player that's going to be important to watch today, Harold Carew coming in. And he plays the game with such sort of physicality and energy that you really need to make sure that you're accounting for him on every play, because any time you're not, he is going to be able to come in and make some big hits like that.
Someone just pointed out that if James Bush kicks the winning field goal, game-winning field goal, I'll be crying. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
Steve
cry.
will be so happy he will jump from our 20-foot tower down rather than climbing the ladder.
James Bush probably don't even like me, right? Just to let you know.
I
don't know the guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Join the queue, James.
As they try and get some power running to that side, but they're able to make that tackle, and looks like it's going to be 3rd and short again. And the Mavericks try to pull their offensive line a little bit, but I think their offensive line isn't quite as good as maybe it had been in some of the previous years. Not quite the same type of athletes, and so they don't get quite that same lead block as maybe they got before, which explains why they're so perimeter orientated with things like their receiver screens and lots of quick passes and stuff. And you wonder if that's something that the O's can continue to try and exploit and put them pressure on, really take away that run game and force them to be one-dimensional.
Oh!
Number 61 there, that is Jake Mead.
An O-line classic.
And that's just infuriating, right? You're just trying to pick up some cheap yards and you end up walking back. And like,
that was designed to hard count, get the defense, jump offside, first down,
you wonder,
and you false start.
You do wonder why you make that call in this situation. Like 3rd and 3, you've been moving the ball fine. Like the last thing you need to do is lose yards. Like, and now you've given the O's the opportunity to come and put some pressure on. But interesting, they've gone to a different look here with sort of what we call nub look, where you've got a sort of tight end attached and trips off to the opposite side, and you can see that the O's have had to sort of really change the balance of where their defensive players are set up to account for that change in space. As they run, QB run inside, but
really
able to make a big tackle early on. Looks like Harold Carew coming in again for the tackle.
Carew's had a great game so far. He's had a few shout-outs in the comments. He's definitely got people spying. They've definitely got players spying this QB today. Every time Joe, the QB for the East Kent Mavericks, looks to take off, they're on him. They're on him at the line of scrimmage.
I really like that type of formation, that look, when the run is a really viable option, because it puts the defensive backs in a bind in terms of how they've got to defend that space. But when you've got a play like that, the linebackers, they can play run quite easily. And so I do wonder if maybe, they just felt like they had a matchup advantage, but I really don't think this offensive line for the Mavs matches up particularly well against this D-line for the Olympians so far, as that's a very nice punt that goes out of bounds to about the 7-yard line, it seems to be. 8-yard line.
8-yard line.
And so now we get to see what the Mavericks defense can do with some good field position, but also what are the Olympians going to do? Because last time they had the ball, they obviously moved it quite well, and now that they've got the wind behind them and they've shown the ability to put up some shot plays, do they lean into that even more?
They've also got a lot of field in front of them. This is, they're pinned back inside their 10 here, so not the most desirable of starting positions for them. But as you said, Tom, they've perhaps got a little bit more of a stretched vertically stretched offense that they can call on. It's just whether they actually do that. I think you'd sort of it's a missed opportunity if you don't start taking shots downfield with this ridiculous wind.
We might check, please. Did I take it off? Did I turn it off by accident, or was it still
it's on. You're still going, mate.
Perfect. Glad that got on there.
It's yeah, it's that for me, right? And then you I don't know how you feel. You've probably got a better opinion in this on this than me because you're an offensive coordinator. But for me, a 6 to 7 yard run on a first down is beautiful. It's like the perfect first down play. Apart from a touchdown or a first down itself, like that's like a statement play for me on a series.
If you could call them all the time, you would. Like quite simply. So you get a nice little counter run working out there, but seemed like they weren't quite able to get. I was surprised they got first down there, to be honest, because when you see a play like that and you see it start getting spilled out to the sideline, you expect that it's not really going to get much yardage. But really nice job there to go and find some space to go and make that run there. But yeah, I agree. I mean, if you can start running the ball and making those first down yardage, then that obviously changes everything. You know, if you can get yourself into second and shorts, you start opening up the opportunity to call shots where you don't have that same risk-reward factor. You know,
like psychologically, it plays with the defense. Like I was a middle linebacker for years, and I hated it when there was a long run on a first down because it really stitches you up.
And
complaints there from number one.
It was overthrown. It was a bit of a I mean, look, to be honest, you know, kind of it was, there obviously was contact. Ball was definitely overthrown. I think the QB sort of didn't expect the ball to wear out quite so much. We talked about how obviously flipping the field and the wind that comes in behind you. Mav sideline probably wants to chill a little bit though. They were very much up in that guy's face, and with the extra referees you've got today, and they've already shown that they will throw flags for different things. You don't want to put yourself in a position where your sideline could lose you any yardage, you know. If you come out, they try and get that counter run going again, and you see.
Number one that time, he just took him to ground.
And so this is exactly why. So Steve, this is exactly why I don't.
You can see I'm frustrated, can't you?
This is why I don't agree with your celebration take, because what they were doing. So what they were doing there falls into the element of what you.
No, that's not what they were doing there. I think that's unacceptable, right?
But that is the same. But the same types of actions in celebration can incite the same type of responses, and we are not, as amateurs, in positions where I don't think we should be held. We should not.
We can't control ourselves.
Not that we can't control ourselves, but that I don't. It's not the same, and I think that we need to essentially be able to be in a place where we can kind of. We have to be a bit more measured, because there's going to be, especially when you think about non-playoff games where you've got different levels of teams, there's going to be sort of inbuilt advantages to each side, and I think essentially you just need to be measured, because otherwise you get those types of things happen where a guy loses their mind because of being...
Yeah, but I don't get it. Like, we're saying, we have to have a rule in place in case someone that's unhinged does something unhinged. You're like, well, how about you don't play the sport then?
No,
like,
I think there's.
I don't get it.
I think it's a nuanced argument, but I think it's very interesting that we have an immediate example of the types of.
No, I do see the point, but I also feel like people need to learn how to control themselves, and it's like you're saying, oh, this animal. You know, this animal can't control himself, so we have to legislate and make sure that the rules protect that. And you think, no.
I definitely understand the argument you're making there, and I think, Carter, like you've mentioned a good point. You're talking about how it's a skill to keep your head, how not to retaliate, and I think like that's part of it, right? Like I think we were talking about not making those mistakes, and I think that it's one of the things that a lot of Britball teams can always do better. Like, you know, I think that there are a lot of teams that probably don't put themselves in those challenging situations enough through practice. I know, for example, at Kent, I don't think we did. If we did, we might have pulled out some of those tighter games if we had some more of those competitive practices and were able to practice those situations. But yeah, it's a very nuanced argument, I feel, as we see that very big punt there. And that looks like it gone out of bounds at about the 23-yard line or so. Yeah, I think essentially it's a very difficult back and forth to kind of work out in terms of celebrating and all of that stuff. But we'll see how it plays out in the rest of this game, because I'm sure it's going to continue to be very chippy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, that's actually a really good point. Like, I'm complaining about the rules and saying that they should change, but at the same time, the rules are the rules, and that's what you've got to stick to. And yeah, choosing to throw people around and not being mindful of celebrating early or over celebrating, you're damaging your team. I don't agree that these rules should be in place, but I also think, you know, you need to know about them and you need to be disciplined enough to play within that framework.
I agree. As we see a good tackle there, ball goes into Joel's hands again, but this time he's able to be met for the tackle with Ashton Campbell coming in to make the play there. And yeah, I think just to wrap up on the rules, I think essentially, you know, we have the set of rules we have, and you just want
and they're really bad.
You want the consistency applied. You want to make sure that both sides get a fair shake of being able to celebrate a bit but not going crazy. And you just want to make sure that if teams are taunting or being a bit aggressive, stamp it out early rather than letting it be a back and forth that builds till somebody boils over.
Yeah, definitely.
As we see, I expect that will be a lineman downfield flag, but we'll see what they judge there, because that gives me a minute to clip my thing back on.
Let me do it for you.
Of course. Daddy Steve having to sort my mic out. Nobody clip that, please.
So I'm used to it, mate. 3 little boys, always having to do stuff. Good point. Ill discipline can cost games and can derail seasons. And yeah, I think we're both saying the same thing with that. Is like, work within the framework of the rules. If you've got a problem with the rules, you know, don't protest on the field about it.
Yeah, exactly. Take out with the rules committee.
Yeah, exactly. Like just play to the rules.
As we got the throw out there, and I saw earlier on this quarterback, Joe Thomas, he was really struggling to connect with receivers during warm-ups and some of the simple things. And obviously earlier on in the game, we saw that they were able to make some big plays. At times, we also, you know, when you were saying that the Mavs have been executing well slightly, I sort of picked it up and said, actually, well, think about how many drop passes they've had, things like that. And now we can see it coming in, and now this game is really hitting a lull, where neither team quite seems to be able to move the ball. And I think the Mavericks need to be a bit more concerned with this. Yes,
defensively, it's great.
Oh, well, to be honest, I mean, if we're being really honest, the defence hasn't done much to stop either of those.
No, there's a lot of incomplete passes. Yeah,
I think the O's are the O's strike me as a team that's quite comfortable in this sort of mixed game where it's like, you know, things aren't really happening.
Yes.
But
it favours them more. Yes. Absolutely.
The O's are here for this just radio static type game where eventually somebody's going to spring up with some points at the end and it's going to suddenly, you know, the game's going to be at 1. Whereas I don't think the Mavericks like it. The Mavericks clearly want to run a high tempo, moving the ball offense. The defense feeds off of that. The defense doesn't like coming out on the field after a punt. You know, they want to come out after they've got some points up. They want to have that,
especially if they're on the punt coverage team.
Yeah, exactly. They want that. They want to be able to play with their tail up, you know. And I do think that the more this game continues to sort of sit in this type of just back and forth,
it plays into the O's hands.
Yes,
absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's a great point.
As they get the ball out there on that running back swing, and a lot of Mavs players able to go and make the contact there.
I think they've been quite unfair where they've marked him down there. It literally back to the line of scrimmage. I'd have given him 2 yards on that.
I mean, I would have. I mean, if they could have done, I might have tried to find one of the receivers that might have opened up downfield. And I think that's one of the things I'm seeing so far is there are quite a few players that are. Oh. As we just about had a timeout called on the field there. Very, very tight. I'm not sure. Obviously, didn't have the right coverage, players in the right spot, flat coverage on that call there. and Ian Whitehead clearly very hot about the need for everybody to sort of pick themselves up, and I think that's what we talked about, right? With
It's
how
the final timeout.
it is, yes. So now the Mavs don't have any timeouts left for when they go on their 2-minute drive, and we talked about the fact that the O's get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah.
So
Massive impact.
And this is why their offense needs to start picking it up, not because their defense can't do it, but it's because they need that back. They need that wind in their sails.
I just want to pick up on this comment from BMAC. He says unhinged people who get flagged for silly stuff like that are punished by watching a wall. It's not called the Warlord, it's Warlord, and it's not a punishment, it's a reward, and it's eye-opening, and it will change your life. All right, BMAC. So watch your mouth. Anyway, back to the game. Second down and 9.5.
There's two things Steve loves, and that is growing the game of brick ball and money.
Yeah. And fake punts.
And so QB drops back. They've got Verts again. Looks outside to his wide receiver, and that is.
There was no effort from the receiver there.
Yeah, disappointing there by Corey McLean.
That might have been the easiest pass defense that cornerback will ever make. He didn't even leave his feet. He didn't have to leave his feet.
I think it's something you see a lot from Britball players is it's that reluctance to sort of come back to the ball and fade away out to it on that back shoulder. I think it's a skill that.
Well, at least try and stop the guy trying to pick it off. Then, you know, get your body at the other side. If you think you're not going to catch it, like there was no effort.
I think
that
it's
was unbelievable.
I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think
no, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. I called it, right? I know. Tommy's being nice. Sorry, Tom. I don't mean to shut you off.
That's fine. He says worse things off camera. Out to number 1 there.
But let me just articulate. I expect absolutely that. You know, it's one of those situations where it's the offense. The offensive player becomes a defensive player. All of a sudden, you've now got a damage limitation, stop that ball being caught. I mean, fortunately, it was just batted down.
So the reason I go the other way on this is that when you see the angle of the ball and its trajectory, you can see that the nose of the ball isn't turning over. So clearly the wind is catching it, it's pushing it on further. And both of those balls looked like they were going to come down at some point, and they just didn't. They kind of drift, and then they sort of come down and die flat. So it's quite hard to make that judgment on the ball. As we see another ball that's very difficult to make a judgment on is that punt, as that starts to bounce and take a very friendly roll as it's down on the 11-yard line, and we have some afters on the field. We've got
it's nothing.
Just handbags, really.
Yeah. It was more verbal than it was physical.
And I think the referees do need to make sure that the next time there's anything that is egregious enough to be flagged for any sort of afters or something, you need to throw it now.
Yeah,
it's very clear that both
sides
sides are hot. Yeah, there cannot be another pushing incident or whatever that goes unflagged.
No.
Because the next one that comes after that will be a problem.
Someone will end up dead, won't they?
Not quite,
wow.
I don't think.
Oh, okay.
maybe that's what
no,
happens
you're right,
in Warlord.
though.
We'll have to watch and find out, you know.
Let's not give away the ending here, mate.
But no, I think I come from a bit of a basketball background as well. My perspective is very much like call the fouls early so I know what's allowed through the game. And I think that's something that referees could apply maybe a bit better in these games. Like call the holds early, call different things that you think are within your bounds for flags so that everybody knows the rules of engagement we're playing with today. And then hopefully that's how in that third and fourth quarter you get really free-flowing games that are really played with a good intensity because everybody knows exactly where those lines are.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Great catch and run there from Gill to pick up. That's a first down. Picked up a first down. Ball is on. Where's it? It's around the 20. Oh, just over the 20-yard line, about 23-yard line.
And if I was the O's here, I would consider starting to play man coverage a little bit on these outside guys on the first plays of the drive. So you can see whenever the team needs to play, they're going to their outside receivers and trying to get the ball in their hands quickly.
Yeah. Ooh!
And that was very close, even though they had two receivers.
That was one of them weird ones, right? When you see the QB looking in the direction the danger's coming from, and it's just in his blind spot for some reason. Do you know what I mean? Like he was so focused on finding an open man, He made no movement. He didn't try and juke him. That was just a clean straight through.
See, I look at it the opposite
defender.
way. I very much find myself not normally just watching the ball. I find myself looking downfield, and I was like, oh, Saquon Gill on the outside. He managed to do the screen and go, and it seemed like he had a step on both the corner and the safety. And I sort of looked back to see when the ball was coming out, and suddenly the guy's in the ground. As he's dropping back here, looking for that corner route over the top to Joe.
Oh wow, what a catch!
But couldn't stay in bounds, so got the first down, but not quite able to go any further. And he really is the engine that's driving it.
They're having to play for for these out of bounds. These out of bounds positions, or positions where they can get out of bounds, because they don't have any timeouts left, and they're. Are we in the last 2 minutes?
I don't think we've had the 2-minute warning just yet.
We're knocking on the door, aren't we? Certainly.
The Mavs will definitely feel that pressure to get those points going into the half.
There we go. That's all right, B-Mac. I appreciate the honesty for you there, mate. We all know how good Warlord is.
And we see that they've got the ball over the top. And he's unable to make the play. That's Matthew Barber-Street. Really good defense there by number 38. That's Angel Garcia making the play. And we've seen the Mavs, it's one of the types of plays that they like to go to a lot. They like to run their screens, and then they like to run that screen and go off of it, where the outside receiver will fake that block, and he'll go and run deep down the sideline.
It just felt like that ball was thrown where the seam, like where the coverage was, rather than in between those two defenders. Like throw that ball about 5 yards more shallow, and it's more likely to be a reception.
Oh, and that ball just goes straight off the hands of number 3, and that was Scott O'Donnell. Ball just comes off his hands. To go back to your last point, I think when it comes to those screening goes, like we try and run that in our offense over at Kent. And we always try and coach. It's not a play, you haven't got a second answer here. You're not going to be able to tuck and run. You're not going to be able to find something underneath. It's one of those balls that's got to be out to the sideline. So you always want to see QBs trying to push it a little bit more to the sideline, so that hopefully your receiver can make you right, rather than trying to push that ball down the field, where that safety might be able to actually go and break and make a play on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they send that guy in motion.
So 3rd down and 10 here. Oh! Done really well there to get around that defender.
That should be.
That looks like a blindside hit.
That is insane.
What's it called? Not a blindside hit, is it?
It is a crackback block.
Yeah, but they got another name for it now, haven't they?
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna. When you have a player in that type of instance, because I've seen this play so many times this year, and the referee's not calling it. And the reason why it frustrates me is because they are safety fouls, and we are playing at an amateur level. And if you do not have enough referees on the field that can 100% call every one of these, I think they should be calling these with an emphasis on anything that looks like it could have been that safety foul, we're throwing the flag. Until players and coaches start to go about football in a way that they are making it obvious through their play that they are not committing these fouls. Because at the moment, there have been way too many head injuries that I have seen this year, and a lot of them have come from plays that are penalties by rulebook that are not judged by the officials as fouls on the play.
There's no foul, there's no flag.
No.
I didn't realise that.
There have been so many times this year where I have seen a player who's been down with a concussion, very obviously on the field. You can see that's from a contact that somebody has deliberately, or maybe unintentionally, gone and made contact with the helmet, or made some sort of crackback motion like that. And the referees have not called it, but they've whistled then obviously for the injury timeout, because they can see the concussed player on the field. And I think that this is something that BAFRA particularly needs to sharpen up, because as the game is growing and getting faster and better, we cannot find ourselves in situations where more and more dangerous plays are not getting called correctly on field. As we get a solid punt out there, number 35 gets to the scene quickly, but not able to make a play. But we do get quite a few Mavericks players rallying around to be able to make the tackle.
Big 93 there. I mean, that's a big guy getting downfield like he did to make that initial contact and redirect the play. That's a hell of an effort from him there on that play. You know, normally it's your gunners that are there first. I mean, this guy, I don't know what we might be able to see on the sheet. What position is he?
I do want to just say that Andrew Johnson, it's you're not allowed to make that type of block when you're coming back towards the direction of your own end zone. That's sort of the issue there. So he's coming at an angle, even though he's moving sideways, he is moving at an angle that's slightly tinted towards the back of his end zone.
Yeah, it was the change of direction of the play.
So that should always end up as a flag in my book.
And players should, the thing is, again, it's a discipline thing from the players. The players should know that when there's a change of direction on a play and everyone's now got to run the other direction, it's now just hand blocks, right? Arm blocks. It's not dropping your shoulder. It's not trying to light people. Oh, mate, back in my day, right, when I first started, that was what we used to look for. I used to head on a swivel and I was like, right, who's not paying attention? Bang! And you just can't do it anymore, right?
The thing is that, like, until these are consistently called, then they're not going to be coached out of the game. They're not going to be sort of taken out the game by by the players sort of doing it for themselves to avoid those flags, because that player's managed to make that block and it hasn't been whistled. Why would he be under any impression that he shouldn't do it again?
Yeah.
You know, so until we get tighter on those types of calls, then unfortunately that's not going to change. And you know, a lot of the times there might be a concussion, they might be fine, but at some point that's a serious injury. Yeah. And that's what it's all about, really.
So it's number 93, just to confirm, it's Seb Ayeye. He's been called Big Seb. He is a D lineman. I was right. You see him on the field there now, interior D lineman, line up. That's bang on nose, isn't it? Or just it's just the one, isn't it? Yeah. I thought he was going old school.
It's number 9 tries to get the ball out to number 10, but it's plotted away there by Kai Osborne coming over to make the pass break up. That was a nice play by him there.
Really nice.
And so now we've got ourselves in 3rd and 6. I think we might be into the 2-minute warning now. We saw that the O's took a timeout on first down after getting some yardage. So interesting to see, do they try and move it to the sticks? Do they try and take a shot? And just
well, this is the famous mid-late, isn't it? You know, there or thereabouts, right? Score now, score when you get the ball in the second half, and all of a sudden you're leading the game.
And so
well,
we
score now and you're leading the game.
Get a little shift
two
there
scores
as
up.
they go from trips on one side to trips on the other. They've got number 88, their big tight end / receiver Freddie Ash in the slot. They go to Verts. QB's trying to make a play, but he ends up being brought down by Bijfard there with the sack.
I'm disappointed. I want that to be Seb, all right, but you know, whatever.
And so we've seen them run that trips vert set a lot, and quite a few times we've seen either the slot receiver or that tight end out receiver getting open over on those sort of dragging verts across the field, but QB just unable to go and look for that so far as we go
so
into halftime.
So we did miss the 2-minute
game.
Warning. Apologies for that, but we did bring you a fantastic half of football. Like, again, it couldn't be closer. It was 1 point to the home team here, 10-9, and we've had a lot in this game. It slower start from the O's but then I've seen that from them before. You know, covering them over the last few years. They frustratingly have been a slow starting team in games, but they pick up and they get going, and that's exactly what we've seen here. It's I can't wait till the second half. I don't think it's possible to even call this game either way. However, if points don't start getting put on the board by either side, as you said earlier, Tom, I think that plays more into the hands of the Olympians than it does into the hands of the Mavericks.
I think
even though they're
teams,
a point up.
I think both teams are definitely leaving points and opportunities on the field so far. I think both teams are getting receivers that are open downfield and either not able to find them, not connecting, maybe getting pressure, just the wrong time, not able to complete those passes. I think the team that does the better job of recognising what were those plays that worked in that first half. How do we get ourselves into formations that get the right openings downfield for those to work? And what is our protection plan? Like we saw when the O's there were trying to sort of get some big plays to try and finish the half, they would sort of bring that running back in. He was trying to pick up blitzes, but they still were letting a bit of pressure through. Like, what is their protection plan? Are they, both teams use the running back in the pass game a lot. Are they going to try and keep him in? Are they going to try and keep releasing him flat and sort of really try and get the ball into their hands when teams bring pressure? We've seen the Mavericks go a lot to that screen and go stuff. That's telling me that their run game, they don't trust their offensive line. Are the O's going to try and be a little bit more aggressive, putting pressure on that offensive line in the second half? Like, there's a lot of different things that both teams can kind of pick up on and try and exploit. But I think, as you say, overall though, this is definitely going to be a momentum game. You know, if say there's a silly special teams play, or Mavericks kick off and suddenly get a quick turnover, how quickly do they capitalise on that? Or there's a lot of different ways that this game can go, and I think, from my perspective, the fewer points that come in the second half, the more likely it is that the O's come out on top.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to have a break along with everyone else. So the stream will stay up. There will be no sound. It will be muted. You will see a fantastic graphic on Warlord, which is out now on Amazon Prime, for the duration of half-time. But we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half of the game. So have a little break. Maybe watch 10 minutes or so of Warlord, and then rejoin us. We'll see you soon. We're just waiting for Tom to climb back up the tower. This is Steve, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. I'll just get the graphic off the screen. Do go and watch Warlord, if you haven't already. And that felt like a really quick half time, but awesome because I'm really looking forward to this second half. And hey Tom, hold on, let me just give you, there you go. Let me put it on your collar, mate.
I'm very sorry, Steve. I was so engrossed with the first 10 minutes of Warlords that I ended up being late to get back in the box.
Do you know what? That's probably the only acceptable excuse. But here we are. Second half, third quarter, 10-9 to the East Kent Mavericks. They're kicking off. They're going right to left as we look at the as you guys look at the screen, or as we look at the field. Hopefully you guys had a really nice half time. Some people have asked about the scores in the other games. You just see there that Rams now trail Merseyside 19-14. I know the other game, the Glasgow Scunthorpe, is a late kickoff. I don't have a score update for Wembley, but I will get one. And as the ball goes out of bounds there was a lot of contact noise coming from the field there, which is good to hear. I don't know, just sort of, I'm used to not hearing it on a kickoff, especially when the ball goes for a touchback. But
no, it lends itself to being a physical second half, which I expect to see. I think it's much more likely that we're going to get some, even though it's not necessarily going to be a run-heavy game, I don't think. I definitely think that it's going to be quite aggressive between the trenches. Both teams really do a good job of rallying to the football as well and getting a lot of players to make those tackles. So I'm definitely expecting both teams to give it their absolute all as we move on here into the second half.
So ball on the 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the O's.
And that's a really nice catch there by number 88, Freddie Ash. And interestingly, we've seen the Mavs come out in the second half, and immediately they've gone back to that 3 down front with that sort of true nose and a couple of players playing that sort of 4-4-eye, essentially either heads up over those offensive tackles or shaded just slightly inside. And that can give a bit more freedom to those linebackers to be more likely to be free to be able to go and make plays rallying to the ball. But now they sort of switch again, so.
Great run here, what a fantastic start to this second half of the O's, still on his feet and just not going down.
An incredible rush.
Absolutely geeing up his sideline, you can see they're buoyant.
And that's Victor Thomas coming out and making that rush there. It's really interesting because the first play we saw them go into that sort of traditional 3 down front, then they went back to something that looked a little bit more like your 4 down front, being a bit more spread. And you wonder if the Mavs are thinking about trying to use their front as more of a weapon to keep mixing things up and keep the O's guessing. But actually, when you see the last sort of plays back to back, maybe actually they need to find a look that is a little bit more steady for them, because currently those first 2 plays, they got gash.
So 1st and 10, QB drops back, fires it over the right-hand side of the field, and it is a touchdown. There are no flags on the field.
And that's Jed Brennan again.
Wow.
And we saw it's a really simple concept. Some people know it as Ohio. It's just an out from the slot and a vertical from the side. We saw Jordan Legg, number 3 there. He's sort of playing that deep safety role. Doesn't normally play that too often. He's much better now at his age as more of a box defender. And he's just not able to get out there over the top and make that play.
What was that, 3 plays?
It was 3 plays. Obviously the O's, they really needed that. Now taking a 15-10 lead. We'll see if they get the extra point. But
this game's amazing.
Looking like they're going for 2 as well. QB's out there.
All right, if you are watching Warlord, stop watching it and start watching this game again, because this is fantastic.
This is exactly what the Mavericks didn't need. But maybe this
But it is what Britball needed.
Maybe this inspires them to come out hot, though.
We love competitive games. They are going for 2, which is really good to see.
And that's Freddie Ash there with the 2-point conversion.
And that's good.
And you can see there the Mavs tried to bring in pressure, and we talked a little bit going into the half about how the protection plan is going to be important. And they saw the running back there was able to pick up that blitz off the backside, just about able to get enough time for QB to get the ball out quickly on that 2-point conversion. It seems like whatever the O's discussed as their particular adjustments for this half is very successful as they've come out, and how are the Mavericks going to come away from this? Because you think about it as a defense, you sit there and you think about what you're going to do to try and take away what the offense has been doing in that second half. Obviously, you're trying to think about the adjustments that they might make as well.
Yeah.
And then you come out and immediately 3 plays and you're just like, what, should we just rip that all away? What we discussed, what do we do? Do we need to make adjustments to those adjustments?
Yeah.
Are our adjustments fine? We just didn't play our coverages perfectly on that first drive. Like, there's a lot of questions that they've got to be answering, and this is probably the most important part of the game in my perspective as a coordinator. It's you've come out, you've had your halftime talk, you've discussed some of the things you might be doing. Like, how do you now respond? Was it everything fine? Do we need to make changes? Like, how do we go about this as this half goes on? Because you absolutely cannot have another drive like that, because with what we've seen from both of these teams, the O's might be able to kill the game if they go out and have one more good drive.
Yeah, and I can't believe you're saying that, but that's absolutely true. And this you can see. I think, look, and number 17 on the O's defense, you can see the O's defense coming on and like just buoyant, like from the sideline, probably for the first time that I've noticed today. And you can see some of the leaders of the team are just saying, look, calm down a little bit. Let's play this series through. You know, I also don't think the Mavs are going to be put off here. The O's, the offense for the Mavs are going to want to answer that previous drive fairly quickly.
And is that ball out on the ground? The ball's out on the ground. It looks like the Olympians have it.
No.
They were signalling for it.
Yeah, there was no whistle, was there?
But are they going to rule him down? I thought I saw an Olympians player getting up with the ball just then, but it seems like they're going to have whistled him down. So getting the ball out in the hands of Matthew Barber-Street to start the half again. Obviously, they've tried to get the ball in his hands a lot. They like to get the ball out quickly on those receiver screens early, whether that's to Saquon Gill or to Barber-Street. And clearly, they understand that that's a smart plan, although there seems to be a flag on the field.
Yeah,
it
looks like it's going
for.
against... No, it's on the offense.
What's the pass interference for? It's a screen pass. How can you have a pass interference on the screen?
I don't know.
If anybody in the comments...
That's 10 yards and it's still first down. So it's 1st and 20. That play wiped off the board. Wembley 42, Thrashers 13. Thank you, Tam, for that. Really appreciate it.
Number 12 goes in motion to create trips. I wonder if they're going to find Saquon Gill on that isolation matchup. Number 59 coming down, show blitz, but he's dropped off. And he gets avoided there. Number 12, Ovi, coming and making the play. And unfortunately, it's only going to be 2nd and 5, which is the same exact result as it would have been if the play had stood from before. So maybe that's some officiating karma.
Yeah. That's what you get, refs. But so yeah,
a fascinating one there, because number 59 Harold, as we talked about, he comes down, he shows blitzes and stuff, but you can see that they managed to exploit his coverage hole there by going to that quick hook. And you wonder if now is that going to stick in his mind? Is he going to maybe play around less?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything's possible, Tom.
As they get the ball in Joel's hands, and he makes a guy miss, and he's got an avenue to try and get some yardage. He's brought down eventually by number 25 there. But
do you know what? If the first half was more defensively dominated, the second half so far has been all about offenses.
And I think that's what you expected from the Mavs. You expected them to maybe try and push those routes down the field more and look for those spaces. Now they're going with a bit of tempo, and you can see that that's starting to catch the O's a little bit off guard. If they continue to bring this tempo, I think they're definitely going to be able to put this defense under a lot of pressure. They just need to be able to complete passes and keep that ball moving. And really good job to slip out that tackle. What I would say is keep an eye on the QB, number 15. He doesn't really... He makes it very obvious where the ball's going. If he hot routes a player, normally the ball goes that way. he'll often take that sort of extra second or third look to the side that he's trying to work. I wonder if the O's are maybe picking up on some of these tendencies and maybe trying to maybe able to exploit them later on.
So you can see QB there patting the top of his head. So typically that means there's some sort of, he's asking someone to run deep downfield, but is he going to throw it to him? And he absolutely is. Oh my God!
I would advise anybody on the Wembley side, the Olympian sideline to maybe turn on our stream and start listening, because a lot of these plays we can see from the box. Like we have called out a lot of these, and I mean I'm not going to toot my horn, but I think we've been right on quite a lot of these. I can only remember one time where he audibled and the ball went the opposite way. Like they should be, they need to be picking up on these things.
He looked straight at that player, didn't he? Patted his head. You go downfield, I will throw it there.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing coming again. He's looking over multiple times. He's got the same coverage. I would expect him to take another shot, especially now that they've isolated him. But they've gone to the jet power read instead, or sorry, midline read. But they've pushed him back. And it looks like that's good. They'll forward progression him.
Yeah, look at, if you see where that line judge on that far side was stood, it looked like he had given that first down yardage.
And I think Ed's making a good point where he's saying sort of doesn't matter if he's looking at when that ball is out that quick. If the DB is smart and they see that, then they know that they should be expecting that ball, you know. Like obviously you've got your head turned, you could see that the DB wasn't able to make a play on the ball, but in his head, if you can get hip to hip with him, then you can actually get your eyes to look back. You can kind of start to try and pick, or you can try and play off. Maybe play off it a little bit and see if you can take away that throw by sort of being in position before the play actually fully develops. An interesting look there. QB was just about able to get the ball out to number 12, but you could see that he was being chased by a blindside blitzer that wasn't picked up. And I wonder if that's something to sort of keep an eye on further as we go through the game. As you know, obviously they need to make sure they're going to get
Stallions v O's in the next round. I'm sorry, you can't call that yet. I appreciate the optimism, but this game is by no means over, by any measurement over.
And they get that receiver screen working again. Saquon is able to get a little bit of yardage, but not much, and now that's going to bring up what looks to be third and about 5 yards.
Just a little drop in tempo here for the offense. There's still no huddle, but they've gone into the red zone now, so they're just sort of which is I think that's a normal thing, right? To see.
I'd watch for the smash to the field side. I'd expect them to try and run a corner route to get the ball on the corner route to Joel, number 11, in the slot there. Instead, they go back end zone, and it's picked by number 25. He comes up with the ball. And,
oh my God, what a play!
That is Ashton Campbell coming away with the pick. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where, you know, the QB, if he's giving any extra looks, he's giving those tendencies, eventually, like, teams will be able to start picking up on that and be able to make plays from it. And you saw corner got his head round a little bit earlier than maybe he had on some of those plays before. And now he's come up with the pick on what should be an easy 1v1.
But then, I agree, absolutely got his head around earlier than before, but that was because he was in the end zone, right? Like, you've got that confidence. You're 8 yards away from the back of
that's true. You get into that space. Exactly. You've got more ability to play the ball.
But Ashton Campbell, great player for the O's, and what a. I mean, it looked like it was going tit for tat, right?
I expect this to be the slowest drive you've ever seen. There's going to be 39 seconds used on the play clock and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not, right?
We see them get into a bit more of a condensed formation as well. Signals they're trying to get some extra blockers. We see them run split zone. So for those who might not know, split zone is your inside zone, but with that tight end working back across the formation, so that if there's any cutback lanes to be found, he can try and sort of follow them to that. He was able to get about 2 yards or so, looking at about maybe 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. And as we sort of expected, that pace is really sort of starting to slow down.
Score update here from Strike Through Ryan saying Scunthorpe have scored and now lead Glasgow 7-0 in one of the NFC 1 North semi-finals.
And to answer your question, Kishinro, this is the semi-finals of the Div 1
1.
South as that pass goes incomplete, bringing up 3rd and 6th.
So these teams are 3 wins away from getting into the Premier League. That's the best way of looking at it. If you win today, win the final, and then you've got to win against one of the teams in the Prem to get into the Premiership.
You make it sound so far when it goes to 3 games.
It is though, isn't it? I mean, well, yeah, 3 more wins, including today.
What I will say though is that I was a little bit initially sceptical of the Div 1, Div 2 playoff
definitely,
but with the different games, different number of teams in the conferences for the South, I think it's actually really fascinating seeing that Essex Wyverns match up first. As that's a nice
really
great
run,
but didn't quite get the yardage they need, and so that brings up a 4th and 5.
I agree with you. I wanted to be sceptical. I was a vocal detractor, right? I spoke out against it. I didn't think it was the right idea. I don't think I've ever been so excited about a postseason. At all levels of the sport, it's just like every week there's something. People have still got something to play for, and you know, even these relegation promotion games, which people were dismissive about, like, oh, well, they've got nothing to play for. Why would they play in the game? And it, like, these teams are up for it, and it's going to be fantastic.
The real test is going to be the real test is going to be when we get to those actual.
Oh, it's just gone straight up in the air. It did go downfield a little bit, but out of bounds at just around the 38-yard line.
That's the first real punt affected by the wind we've seen properly.
Actually,
yeah,
he's put it at the 44, 43.
Yeah, you managed to get a little bit yardage, but not perfect.
A little bit of ref yards there for the offence. That's all right.
I think I would say with that. As an offence, that's what you want to avoid, in the sense that you want to start to suck the life out of the game a little bit, but you obviously have to remember that, like, you know, the way that they started moving the ball, the way that things are working, it's been with a bit of tempo. And you do wonder if how do you find that balance of not putting up risk, not putting yourself in dangerous situations, but still taking the time out the clock and trying to control the game, because you can feel that there is a real energy around the ground right now.
I would say that you're. And I don't know, people may dislike me saying this. I would say your key objective now as the O's is to get under the skin of the Mavs and annoy them. Like, frustrate them. And I don't mean through foul play, I just mean through making things difficult. And
you want to say that little thing on every tackle, right? Like when you're down on the ground after the tackle, you want to say that thing. You want to, when that ball gets thrown over your head, you want to tell them that their QB sucks and all of those different things, you know? Like those little things that just get them on edge.
One thing I would do is always, like, coach the receiver if he missed the pass and go, like, look, mate, what you got to do is, and then he'd be like, shut up, go away. And I just loved it. I love all that stuff about the game.
You can see there,
just,
they get
like,
the ball
win
out
the psychological game.
And they managed to get the ball.
What a move!
And he shakes a couple.
And multiple moves. By that man, number 11. Is it Joel?
Joel Hughes.
Joel Hughes.
And he needs to be careful though. He is running very hot, as you saw there.
Yeah.
And
he's a bit animated, wasn't he?
He is, and I'd completely get it, but have to be careful, because all it takes is the referee seeing that wrong once, and suddenly you find yourself backed up like we have been before. So play right on that edge.
Yeah, exactly.
As we see him go in motion. Ball out to the receiver on that swing screen. Really good block from number 11.
Oh, he's gone!
He's rushing to the end zone. Good job there to make that tackle.
Great defending there. To get him out of bounds. I mean, he's inside the 5, surely. Is that where he's being marked? No, it looks like he's outside, just judging from... He's about the 7-yard line they've marked him. Maybe he stepped out of bounds, but it certainly looked like he was closer to the pylon there. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. I didn't expect that to move back.
Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. We almost had a fatality here.
We've got a big boy in the backfield here, number 53, as they run QB power.
Behind him.
But stuff. And I think this Mavericks offensive line it just doesn't have that push and that drive that you've seen from them before. And you've seen when they've got to their running game, they've had to use a lot of misdirection. They try and use RPOs off it. They try and use those receiver screens. But I think all of that is masking that fundamentally this offensive line doesn't have the edge for them to be able to get 4 yards consistently against that O's box. And I think that that's something that's going to be really interesting to, like, you know, I think in the first half, there were definitely opportunities where maybe if they had the opportunity to just run the ball and get some yards, that might have helped them.
Yep.
But now, you know, as we continue to go through this half, this game's looking like a tight game. Are they going to be able to get those yards when they need it if that offensive line can't get that push that they need?
Yep. Fires it over to that. Oh, really nicely defended there. I mean, he had a split second of time from once he turned around to look for the ball to get his hands up and defend that.
And that's what we were talking about, the hand signals, right?
Yeah.
He's got that little hand signal to do a little end zone fade.
Yeah.
And now he's learned his lesson, he's able to get his eyes round, he's able to make a play. And obviously, yes, some of that is also to do with the end zone and the difference in timing with that, the space that's condensed. But it's something that you do need to think about, particularly if the Mavs advance. How are they going to be able to do these things without giving the defense such an extra edge, especially as I'm assuming that whoever they play is probably going to be using this film that they acquire and
well, if I let them,
might be listening to my notes if they're silly.
I might take the live stream down.
And they look for a quick slant in the back of the end zone and not able to connect there. And so now they're having to kick a field goal.
Is a field goal the right choice here?
I think that I would like to see them go for it because I don't have much confidence that the O's would.
You're pinning back the O's then, aren't you? On the off it, like you've got that territory advantage.
And you can see that the O's goal is to try and slow the game down.
Yeah.
And so there's a good chance that if you were to go and you know, go for try and get the touchdown here, that they would probably go 3 and out, you know. And now they're in a situation where they're struggling to get players on the field, and now they've had to take a timeout, you know. And that is not what you want. If you'd kept your offense on the field, you'd just gone for that 4th down.
Yeah.
And as long as you didn't make some catastrophic error,
yeah.
you would have been able. That's the one. Thank you. You would have been able to have at least had them pinned deep and see if your defense, who's always excited to go and get safety, can come and do something here. But now you've had to burn a timeout. Last time they had no timeouts at the end of the half when they needed them because of different things with different players not being in the right spots. And so you sort of look at it.
The only acceptable redemption arc for me here is if they fake it and run in a touchdown. All right.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, guys. You got the players.
So QB Joe Thompson is the holder. Joel is kicking. And the field goal is good. So that game is now 17-13.
Yeah, I'm disappointed by the end of that, especially considering that their previous drive ended in the interception in the end zone. Their offense is firing nicely at the moment, right? Yes, they had the interception, you know, turnovers. Like, it hasn't killed the momentum. They've just driven down the field. Like, they're doing okay. Tack on points, go to tack on points, and if it's a turnover on down, so what? You've pinned back the offense. I don't know.
I think fundamentally they need to figure out what plays work best for them when they get inside the red zone, because they've had some really good drives. They've got plays that they run between the 20s that seem like they should work fundamentally in that red zone.
Yeah.
So it's like you've just got to find a way, like, you know, things like the jet QB run, like can you bring that in more? Can you maybe get some motion working to get to your wide receiver screens?
It's a good point. They've lacked a little bit of creativity in that red zone, haven't they?
Offside from the far side.
The shorter part, the shallow end of the red zone, should I say.
Yeah.
Oh! Lovely hit there. Shoulder height to take down the ball carrier. And the ball carrier is okay. Number 12, you can see him getting up there, walking off. But just a really nicely timed hit to take him down.
And just to confirm as well, number 1 was the guy who, Blue Thompson, who took a bit of a... Was that the guy who took a knock in the first half? Number 1? No, he was involved. Who was the player who got hit on the crackback? I can't remember.
That was a bigger player. I don't know his number. Yeah.
But I did check with the medics and he is fine.
He's okay.
So
okay, cool.
He should be on the field in the second half.
There's someone here disagreeing with thinking that the field goal was the right play because it's now 13-7 game. A Mavs D that creates turnovers against a team that like to turn the ball over. Okay.
Well, the Mavs like to turn the ball over as well when they've played them previously. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
So they have fumbled the ball, but he picked it up and carried on. And that is a play that I've seen from the Olympians quite a lot, where they like to toss the ball outside, they get their play side guard leading out.
Yeah.
The idea being that if he can get that kick out and the linebackers overcommit, that creates that big crease that you can then get vertical. And that worked quite well against us when they were, as Kent, when we were able to stop the run in other ways.
Yeah.
And so that's really sort of one of the plays I've seen them use, is like, this is when we really want to get the run game going.
Yeah.
So if they're running plays like that and they're not working, that tells me that they might not have answers in their run game to move the ball as they want to. But they are able to find number 84 in the seam there before he's taken on and tackled by Jordan Legg, and I think that's something that I'd really been looking to see if they can do more, because we saw those players open downfield earlier on in that first half.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball, but they just weren't able to put the ball in those seams. But if they can go and attack those seams,
there's less hesitation in the decision making of the quarterback on these throws. Exactly as you said there, you know, like we're seeing these players downfield, but it's actually making that decision to pull the trigger a lot quicker.
And it seems like the protection up front was a lot better. They've seemed to, they've ironed that out a little bit. Their QB's very good, very decisive when he's got that time. He's got a good arm, as we've seen. So it will be interesting to see if they can keep finding those holes as the game goes on. As once again, we see that O's game, that run game, I don't think it's working for them. And you get into an interesting point as an offensive coordinator when the run game isn't working very well, but you want to control the game clock because, you know, it's very hard at this level to sort of lean into a short passing game.
Yeah.
If you call passes that are sort of pushing the ball down the field, even if they're working, you kind of feel to yourself, you're still putting the ball in harm's way. Things can always change.
You live by the pass, you die by the pass, don't
exactly.
you?
So do you keep your foot on the gas? I think if I was the O's, I would keep my foot on the gas, keep pushing the ball here, actually. As you see the QBs coming out and so checking the play
second
here.
Second and 10 here. Ball on the 42-yard line.
We see the Mavs send blitz, they get the ball out quickly and it's caught!
Oh, wow.
And that, I think, is a really positive sign for what the O's are going to do the rest of the game. They saw that they were showing blitz, the QB came to the line, he made the check, he dropped back, he threw the ball with confidence. There's not a lot of QBs that would throw the ball, even if the guy's got leverage when they're hip to hip, because they don't necessarily trust themselves to be able to put the ball in the spot their guy can win it.
Yeah.
But he put that ball out nice and quickly, and they were able to go and turn and make the play. If the quarterback is that comfortable with what he's seeing up front, he's able to diagnose and make the right decisions, then I think that Brandon Field has a really good opportunity to lead him down the field on this drive and get some more points. And then that field goal, fourth down conversion question really comes into play now that if it becomes a two-score game.
Oh, very high on that pitch there.
And we see a flag in the backfield.
Doing no favours to the running back.
As number 4 seems to be down.
Sorry. Yeah,
looks like he's taking.
He's clutching the back of his head, but he's up on his feet. Number 4's up on his feet and making his way to the sideline. I just put him on camera there. Again, for those of you that haven't seen our coverage before, Forrest gone back to ground.
That's a big loss for them as well.
We don't film injured players. There is a hold on the offense, so that really takes the momentum out of this drive. Actually, exactly what the Mavs needed here, I would say, because the O's were, you know, back-to-back first downs. Player just being clapped off there. Hopefully we see him again. But yeah, just to go back to what I was saying, all of us that are involved with Sports Anchor or coached or played, and we just, as part of our coverage, we choose to respect the injured players as the players do on the field. So they take it, we don't take a knee, but we choose not to film them while they're injured. And the flip side of that, as you may have seen already from our coverage, is we will absolutely film a fight, all right? I don't care. Actually, I do care. If someone gets hurt, I would. That's when I'd have to pan away, wouldn't I? Obviously an injury, but no one ever gets hurt in fights, do they? It's just scuffling. QB keeping his eyes downfield, but
that is caught. That's caught. That is caught.
No way.
That is a catch. He was down. He was inbounds. But I don't. So I'm a bit confused because I think you are allowed to catch the ball from the ground, but that makes you down. But I've also seen some people say that if you are down already, you can't make that catch legally. No. So
you see Coach Emeka on the sideline there, just not pleased.
And you can see the Mav sideline is very rattled right now.
That's three very well. Two were first downs, and this third good catch by number 84.
Yeah, Chimoy Young. He's been
on this drive alone.
He's been a very good player for them in the slot, very experienced, and just always seems to be able to just get open in spaces and make those big plays. And that is a great catch there by the receiver, Blue Thompson outside. The QB is absolutely dialing on this drive. You can see that it definitely wasn't one step and he takes that hit, but he's able to get the ball out and he is working really well right now. I believe Brandon Field, I think he might be the QB who was out of Swansea from previously.
I'm not sure.
Because there was a QB at Swansea University from before. He was an American guy who pushed them to get up to Div 1, and obviously, unfortunately, they were unable to hold themselves up there.
Yeah.
Blue Thompson,
one of the best players for the O's. Good to see him making plays here today.
QB rolling out, looking for something open. He throws the ball away and he makes a completion.
Oh my God!
And Chinoy Young
He's still on his feet. He takes it in, spins out of the contact.
And that is all about that quarterback there. He took an absolutely massive shot as he was throwing that ball, rolling away out of bounds. Not a late hit or anything, just really lit up just because he had somebody chasing him as he was rolling out. Still able to find a lane to get that ball out, and what a game we now have. That's the wrong side.
Oh, yeah.
Down the other way. It is now 23-13 pending the PAT, and this is exactly why you had to go for it. You know, it makes sense that the Mavs team was ready to get turnovers, but we saw that this Olympians team can move the ball when they start playing with tempo, and this Mavs team is very rattled right now. You can see on the sideline, just beneath us, that there's a lot of arguing and sort of, obviously it's all positive intensity. They want to turn things around.
Frustration essentially, isn't it? Yeah.
They clearly are not happy with the way that things are going, and I think that if there's one weakness about this Mavs team, I would say it's the fact that when they get themselves down, because they don't find themselves in situations often where they're down, I don't think they're as resilient to be able to come back. When they can get ahead and they can play with wind in their tails, they're going to keep on you and they're not going to let you get back into the game. But as soon as they start to fall behind, and now you're in this situation here, it's very difficult. Thank you very much, James, for confirming Brandon Fields from Swansea. We've previously seen him there doing a fantastic job, and on the field today. The second half in particular, he's really picked it up and he's really locking in. And the O's are locking in now and they're playing with tempo, and this is really unexpected. This is not the game script that I really expect from them. I would have expected them to really be dragging the game into the mud, but if their offensive line isn't able to run the ball, maybe they've actually sort of unlocked a part of their game they should be leaning into more, which is that passing game and putting the ball in the hands of Brandon.
And kicking here from the 50
so I think there was an unsportsmanlike flag that was whistled on the Mavs, and so now they've gone.
I didn't see that.
It was. I wonder if now onside kick.
Yeah, onside kick.
Or a little dink into one of these little areas round
straight
here.
Up in the air.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see an onside kick here. Although you can see the second and first rows are very tight together here. They just kick it out of the end zone there, so for a touchback.
And so the Mavs offense has a lot of things to answer here. They've got to start moving the ball. They obviously need to make sure that they don't have any turnovers. And what they absolutely cannot afford here is a 3 and out. They must make sure that they start getting the ball out.
But I don't think that it's going to be a 3 and out. We've seen 2 really good drives from this offense so far in this half. And it's just that they haven't, they went for the field goal and they threw an interception. So like they put themselves in the scoring positions both times. So I don't see this drive being any different for them.
I'd be expecting a receiver screen out here. Send Saquon in motion, and they get the QB running their jet midline read.
Not the cleanest of meshes, was it? There was
a little head knot.
Yeah, it was like a jolt. I think Saquon took more of Joe's arms than he wanted him to, and but didn't impact the play. Just Joe, great. So QB Joe Thompson there. Fantastic
and
first down.
And I think if you're the offensive coordinator, you definitely need to get into that formation a lot, because you can see the amount of space they're giving you to that trip side. There's a lot of different things that you can do when you get that defense and that look. saw them trying to work that type of throw, that sort of, it's not quite a post, it's not quite a slant, sort of like a glance type route over the middle, and they weren't connecting on it in warm-ups. And you can see that's something they want to be able to attack because they're getting that void. You see that they've carried and brought the extra defender that they could bring over to the spread side onto this side of the formation, closer to us rather than the field side. So they've got that space to attack. They've just got to be more efficient at finding it, you know. But now the defense is a third down, so they brought that extra defender down. So now you've got matched up man for man across the board. I'm assuming they probably look to maybe try and run the ball here.
Yeah, it's going to be a... Oh no, it's not. I would have...
And they've gone for a quick pass. It's been picked off by number 18. And he's got a lane down the sideline. And he's going to make some yards. And he's still going.
God.
And the ball's been stripped out by Saquon. And it's gone out of bounds. That was recovered by the quarterback, but he was not in bounds. And it looks like they're going to give it to the O's.
I think that's right.
It was slapped out by Saquon, number 0, as he was being returned, but nobody had control of it inbounds, and the Olympians got it. And you saw, once again, it was that glance route over the middle, and it was tightly contested this time. They were able to get man for man, and so now the Olympians have the ball in the red zone. And I think we might be in for a patch of some sprinkles, some rain.
Yeah. I didn't get my umbrella.
That's all right.
And
you
I
can
don't have my hoodie on
find
either.
yourself under mine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Big bucket hat. It's got enough room for 2 under it. But yeah, that is exactly what, like, essentially, when you get second and short, with a defense like the O's that changes up their sort of coverage structure between different types of downs, you need to make sure that you're taking advantage of it. And I think that the thing that the Mavericks haven't been doing very well is that when they're in those spread looks and the defense is committing 3 defenders on one side and 2 defenders on the other, they have to find a way to attack the 2-man side. Because you've got that space, that safety's playing off and deep rather than...
Has a timeout been called?
I think it looks like there might be.
I didn't know if it was or if it was a...
Because it seemed like they had a player running off quickly. I don't know if that's maybe an official...
Right, we should hear the...
Is that 4 timeouts that the Mavericks have used across this game for too many players or not enough players on the field and various different things?
Is that 4, did you say?
Across the game.
Yeah.
Because
this is the second one today. Second one this half.
All 3 of their timeouts in the first half were used on defence, right?
Yeah.
And now they've used 2 in this half. It was still in the third quarter.
Yeah.
On defence, the other one was on special teams with that field goal where they didn't have enough players.
Correct.
And this is just telling me, this just shows you how rattled they are. They're just not ready to be in this type of situation.
In this type of game, they're going to be really costly. You know, as you said, like when you take your 2-minute drill away from your team, and that could be the difference between winning or losing. Anyway, 1st and 10 here, ball on the 17-yard line.
Hand off and...
Oh, big hit there, but not wrapped. Number 30 coming in. I think he took a bit of a stinger. You can see him shaking his arm there. But not nice bit of contact, but the ball carrier just bounces off of it.
Honestly, I feel like I'd be surprised if we see a rush the rest of this game, to be honest. Neither team is clearly at their best when they're running the ball. Both teams really have the measure, and I think that's part of what happens when you play the third game against each other. Things like your bread and butter run plays, it's very easy to start taking those away. And
they just flipped over from 1st down to 4th down, which it's 2nd down, just to let everyone know. But it looks like it's quarter end.
Maybe it was signalling 4th quarter in a unique fashion.
Yeah. Which actually gives me, because of the length of the field change, it's a great time for me to tell you guys about a little film that's out there at the moment.
Please do. What's going on, Steve?
So they've sponsored us, which is awesome, and it's a film called Warlord, starring Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings. He was either Pippin or Mary, I don't know which one, but one of them. And he's alongside cast members from Baldur's Gate 3, Harry Potter and Battlestar Galactica. It's out now on Amazon Prime, and you need to go and watch it. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I can now afford to put petrol in my car to get home.
Yeah, I can now afford to feed my children.
If it wasn't for Warlord, I wouldn't know. I'd be stuck in Canterbury. I don't know if I'd be able to leave the crow's nest.
Start a new life here. So, as we enter the fourth quarter, the Olympians lead 24-13. They have the ball, 2nd and 10 at the 17-yard line. They have the upper hand in this game. They have really taken command of this game during this third quarter. During the third quarter, and it's sort of theirs to throw away now, really.
Yeah, and I think the run game is the only thing that can really kind of hold them back, because, as we said, like, you don't want to lean into passing the ball too much, but you need to be able to run the ball in these situations. And so, if there's any issues there, that's the only way I can really see it going away. I mean, the Mavericks do have an explosive offense that can move the ball quite quickly, but we have seen the quarterback has had some potential issues. They've got the wind in the wrong direction for them as well, with the wind blowing against them, so that might hurt their ability to take shots. Yeah. So I think we're really in for a fascinating quarter. I think that it's going to be a very tough game for the Mavericks to come back into if they allow points at this point. But you never know. They can easily turn this game around. I think it's all going to be about, at this point, I think the X's and O's are starting to fall away. It's all about that mental resilience and that sort of emotional discipline and intelligence of all of the players.
So going back on now, you hear the whistle there after a brief stop to fix the chains. We say that so many live streams, there might be a gap in the market there for any entrepreneurs out there.
And so
chains that work.
we were talking before about that protection plan. You can see that unblocks blitzer off the backside edge, QB having to roll away. Despite he's really toughing it out and obviously making some really big plays. You saw him make some great throws.
They're going after him, but he's that's it. He's still keeping his head up. He's finding the space in the backfield to then make a play.
But duties keep building up, and we've just seen them substitute one of their offensive linemen, number 75, the left tackle's come out, and now they're bringing in another player on the offensive line. Like, it's small things like this that might be how the game goes away.
Winners get to next round and get to watch Warlord. Everyone gets to watch Warlord, but what I will say is that I'll consider a private screening, a watch with me of it online for the winners. Let me know. And their fans. Anyway, let's watch the game.
Third down, QB trying to get away.
Oh, he's under pressure, he's dropped the ball. It's on the deck, it's going to be recovered by an Olympian, but for a huge loss of yards, takes the ball out of the red zone, roughly to around the 33-yard line, I'd say.
And great job by number 77, Ajibola, falling on the ball, making sure that it was recovered. And, I mean,
couple of players
it potentially is field goal range here, looking at about a 47-yard
with
kick
the
from
wind,
the 30, with the wind.
But then, we say with the wind, but we've also seen the wind be the problem in a field goal attempt earlier, in that it died down just as the kick was taken. So yeah, while you are kicking with the wind, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your accuracy is not impacted. But they are going for it.
It's James Bush, Steve. He can't miss a thing, can he?
That's it. Give him 7 points. Don't give him 3 points.
And Jordan Legg is back in case it's short to try and return it.
Look at these comments. People know where their bread's buttered, don't they? And that's on Warlord, and that's with Warlord. Oh! Blocked! Oh, I thought it was blocked. Sorry.
Just off to the side. It was blocked.
Was it tipped?
It was tipped, but it looked like it had the distance, but it just went off to the right.
Okay, so, cool.
Good job.
I don't look like such an idiot then, because I thought, oh my, for me, looking at it here, I thought that was blocked, and then I see it sailing downfield, and I'm like, oh no, I need to move country, change identity, close down Sport Tank, divorce my wife, and just start a new life in.
I'll be honest, Steve. If she's got this,
in Central America, I'm thinking.
If your wife's got this far with you, I don't think there's anything that can change it.
I can't get rid of her.
And so we see them go into trips now, isolating Saquon on that far side of the screen.
So I was saying Nana was the only one to vote the O's to win. Just to let you know that neither myself nor Tom were involved in those votes. There are multiple people at Sport Tank. So stop trying to dig us out, all right? We're having fun here today. We're enjoying the O's win just as much as you are. Or the O's performance. Let's not call it a win yet.
I don't like either of these teams, if I'm honest. I'm not enjoying it.
I know, you don't. Yeah, we've got Ken XL's offensive coordinator here. Sour, because he isn't in the playoffs. Sorry, Tom. Sorry, I'm getting carried away.
It's fine. I'll just take all the Warlord money, yeah?
Yeah. I wonder how much it is. I know how much it is. I'm not telling anyone though.
It's enough that I'll be going to work on Monday.
17 grand. No, it's nowhere near that. They'd probably be upset if I talk about it actually.
And so we see the QB following his pullers there and able to get into third and very manageable. Looks like it'll be about 2 yards.
I can see how the offense must be quite frustrated. You know, again, interception, drive ended in field goal. The last one, it was another interception, wasn't it?
Although I've got to admit, I'm a little bit confused as to why they've got the ball started from the 30 in the first place. I've only just thought about it when they kicked the ball from the 37. I always thought that you get the ball turned over from where the spot of the field goal attempt was and not the line of scrimmage. But
no, I thought it was line of scrimmage.
Oh well. And so they try and get some yardage here, and it looks like they're going to be just short. I think the referee looks like he's signalling for the first down.
Someone's being. We don't have to read that out.
Yeah, why did we go 1 and 6? In short, it just was
what
a
you did
season.
Was win one game, and then the other ones you lost.
It was a season where every team, I think, has these seasons at some point where just everything that can go wrong does come up and go wrong in terms of different players getting injured or being unavailable and things of that nature. I'd say less than half the games this year we started with a quarterback that had played quarterback before that season. And despite that, we managed to find ourselves in a lot of one-score games with a lot of very high-level teams.
If I'm honest, and this is brutal of me maybe, but all I'm hearing is excuses from you here, mate.
And that's fine. Very nice play there to avoid the sack, and good tackle to make it 2nd and 6.
By the way, just for the record, I'm a big fan of the Exiles organisation. They're great people. The Exiles. So last week, I posted about the barbecue burnout barbecue that the Oxford Saints do. The Exiles do probably the best burgers on a match day that I've ever tasted. And I was told they get their meat from like a butcher's, like it's all high quality stuff. It's delicious. Go down there and check them out in a home game whenever that next is, because it's worth the trip.
Thank you, Steve. Almost saved yourself as we get a nice play there to Barber Street, number 5, and you can see that when they isolate and they're able to attack those isolation matchups, they're able to start moving the ball, and I think they've got to see them keep trying to pick away at those.
But I would say that's exactly what we have seen this half from them. It's just they haven't got that final. Like that's why I think they'll feel quite frustrated because they haven't really done much wrong. Okay, 2 interceptions, but like they're
between the 20s.
They're not stagnant.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lack of creativity in that red zone.
And that ball hit the ground. Good call by the official there, as that ball definitely hit the ground. And I think one of the things that's underplayed as well is the fact that there are some personnel issues for the Mavs today. You can see that I think their starting tight end would normally be Danny Carroll, but number 11, Joel, he's obviously been playing a lot of slot and moving about, but you can also see him tight to the formation, sort of trying to play that tight end style role in the blocking. So obviously there are certain plays on the call sheet that they're having to sort of adapt and use some different personnel for that they might not have planned to, which might be why their run game isn't quite what we've expected from them so far. So credit to the Mavs, they're trying to get things rolling, but they've got quite an uphill battle as we continue on through this 4th quarter currently. And they So it looked like there was just a bit of a. They didn't quite see the same thing. It looked like number 12, Ovi, there was looking to push maybe on his sort of rail, go up the field and look to try and continue off into the end zone for that ball over the top.
He zigged when he should have zagged. That's what it is, Tom.
Yeah, QB thought he was going to zag and he zigged.
To quote the water boy, he zigged when he should have zagged on that play. Right? It just, the QB threw that ball and the running back, while the ball was in the air, was facing the other way. Like it just wasn't there.
And so it brings up 3rd and 9 here as they send guy in motion. They hand it off for the double pass. They're throwing it deep out to number 5, Barber Street, and he doesn't come down with it. And they're calling for PI. I would probably be thinking that there's an illegal block downfield somewhere within that. But you can see that there's a lot of frustration now. Like, I mean, it's a very good play call, catch them completely off guard. Very unique when you get the opportunity to see two brothers able to sort of have that type of play on the field.
Are they brothers?
Yes, you've got both Barber Streets. You've got Matt Barber Street, number 5.
Oh, they could
Robin
just have the
Barber
same
Street,
surname.
number 1. No, they're definitely brothers. And yeah, unfortunately,
Could just have the same double-barrel surname, right? Don't be so close-minded.
4th and 9. Pressure, and Saquon's able to
nice!
find it. Good job.
That is a great play. That is a first down play. That's a 4th down conversion, and they're now in the red zone.
And that's the type of
19-yard line.
And I really like that play because the QB threw the ball before the break. They've got an out-breaking route that's deep. Not a lot of teams try and run those out-breaking passes that are deep down the field.
Yeah.
So normally teams, they like sort of those 5-yard outs and things.
That's right,
but those deeper outs are really effective when you can sort of catch and throw them with that sort of good timing. So hopefully it's not too little too late and the Mavs can continue to mount their comeback.
No, come on.
As we've seen, inside the 20 is where things start to get a bit challenging for them.
Yeah. Condensing this defense.
They're looking for the ball and they put the ball in there and not able to be picked. And that was a really nice concept there. They get a player working out on the wheel with Saquon then coming back across on the dig to try and sort of exploit that space from where players leave, but just unable to get his hands on it. Really nice job by the safety to come in and break up the play. I believe that was number
So we have been asked in the comments, I just want to acknowledge, someone's asked how much time's left. We don't know because we can never see a play clock, but we do listen out for the refs. It is windy, so it's hard to hear it, but we will give you any time updates as we come across them. Typically that's when their timeouts are called. But if we get any others, we'll also call them out.
And so getting that ball out in the slot really quickly.
Good job.
And good job managing to rally and tackle. Good job trying to lean out and get that extra little yard that you can find. And I think now, if I was the OC, I would be looking at that trip set with that tight end nice and tight. Get that space out to that trip side so that you can try and
but not their like their jet sweep. They're third and 2, 3rd and 3 here.
4th down territory as well. So yeah, I get you.
I don't know. Yeah, you're the OC. I'm the critic.
As you like to, as you wanted to highlight, we went 1 and 6. So maybe not my decision.
You're the 1 and 6 OC. Right? Oh no, I'm not
they
saying
do go
that
to that
you.
jet and they don't get the first down.
Oh, but
So
it is close. They do get positive yardage.
And that's the thing, right? You get 4th and 1.
You've got to go for it.
Yeah, of course.
Please don't do a field goal here.
And so it looks like number 6, Danny Carroll, is coming out on the field now. So
someone's saying time check. Hopefully you guys heard since that we will give you a time check as soon as we get one.
And so I want.
So they're going to measure. They're going to measure.
I don't. Are they?
With the broken chains.
Oh, here we go. We've got. This is always an interesting part for me, where you get people who are taught how to do chains on the sideline before a game, and then suddenly you've got to run out and measure them and get it all right.
How long do you think it is? So the NFL are rolling out the old, is it eagle eye technology for the first down this season?
I'm more focused.
How long till Bribble gets it?
I'm more focused on when we can get helmet comms between play callers and QBs, given those nows have been legalised in the NCAA.
This is more important. Stop. Oh, that looks. I don't know what.
That looks short to me.
It looks short.
That's very.
What the?
Either something was wrong with the sticks in terms of how they were placed, or the referees are a little bit insane, feeling the need to measure from that.
Just wanted to give everyone a little breather. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, to be fair, if either head coach was able to sort of lobby the officials to get a measurement to kind of buy that time, that is good coaching right there.
Hey, but maybe the rest was just like, come on, let's let them gather their thoughts.
Maybe they thought that we would be a little bit smarter and they were trying to buy a little bit of time for us to put in a Warlord advert, which is available on Amazon Prime if you haven't already bookmarked it.
They should know when we plan to do these, which is obviously the change of every quarter.
Look at what set they've gone into, Steve. They've gone into that trip snub set.
Creating all that space.
But now they've gone into man coverage, and now you've got an isolation of your cornerback on Joel on the short side, with him starting off inside, so he's got all that space to break out into, as well as man coverage on all of your trick players to the right. But they go QB power with a lead blocked by the tight end, and it looks like he's just about able to get a couple yards.
I mean, they've picked that up. Yeah, already signalled from the ref on the far side. So
and that's a really smart coordinating there. You're able to move the pieces, get the numbers you want.
Yeah, but that's what they've not been doing in the red zone, you know. And hey, maybe we're seeing a change.
Maybe they need a box. Maybe they need to be able to get this height, so they've got somebody who can kind of come in and give them those little bits of tips and stuff.
So it's first and goal now. Ball on the 6-yard line. Mavs at the wheel. Or Joe. Let's say Joe's at the wheel because he's the QB. Oh!
And it looked like a bit of a miscommunication there. They looked like they weren't quite on the same page. And that's not what you want.
And not for the first time.
No.
Even on this drive.
No, and I think that
but that can sometimes happen when you go a little bit deeper into your playbook. You know, trying to use a bit more creativity, you start to call stuff that people aren't used to quite used to running.
Yeah, and it's really easy to
get these miscommunications.
It's really easy to start practicing some of these things like this, and maybe some of your base concepts drop off, or vice versa, and whatever. And I think that's what makes it so interesting in the playoffs, right? How do you approach it? Do you stick with your base stuff? Do you make wrinkles? Like,
you just win. That's all it is, mate. You've got to win, right? None of this 1 and 6, right?
Good job there by number 18, getting his hands on the ball.
Getting his body round.
Yeah.
And then his arms up to meet the receiver's arms and making that play. He was upset with himself, but that was a hell of a play from the DB.
If this was me here, I would be staying in that same look, and I would be trying to run some sort of crossing combination that involves the 2 wide receivers on the side near to us, because they're going man up. When you went into that sort of 6-man front with that extra tight ends, they went 5 down on the defense. That's taking an extra player available away from coverage. We see they've gone back to that trip snub set. So let's see what they can do with that 3-3 combination they've created, as they go and motion a receiver out. We can see defense bumped over a little bit, but there's still some space to be exploited. They go and run the ball this time instead, and he is shut down short. And that kind of call really, that kind of call really irks me. I really do not like the idea. Like, you haven't been able to run the ball that well. You're 4 yards away from the end zone. You've got a couple shots at it. Take 2 passes. Create some space. Take 2 passes.
Yeah, and I agree. This defensive line has ate that up all day. You know, there's been nothing up the middle all day. But I don't know, because then you say, well, maybe because that's the play they least likely are going to call. But anyway, we've got a field goal attempt here. And a successful field goal would mean an 8-point game, which is technically a 1-score game. Have the Mavericks called their final timeout? The Mavericks called a timeout when they had 11 players on the field, and now they're going to have no timeouts for their 2-minute drive at the end. Just wait and hopefully we can hear the time.
No, they've called the timeout. $7.50.
Oh, 7.54. I thought you said 7.50. No. Anyway, 7 minutes and 54 seconds left.
They've managed to use up all of their timeouts in this game for the number of players on the field. That is something.
That is music to the London Olympians' ears.
And that is the type of thing that I think. Fair play to them as well. Like, I think that obviously head coach Emeka stepped up as head coach during the season. He wasn't the head coach that started off this season as their head coach. And I think those are the types of important lessons you kind of need to learn in these playoff games, right? It's like, what are the things that we can iron out? What are the things we can sort out? And obviously making sure that that's sorted if they advance and end up winning this game is something that's going to be absolutely paramount, because
as Edward says, there is plenty of time left, but you're right, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, a tactical disadvantage by
and a lot of these players you'd rather take the delay of game.
Take the 5 yards or whatever. Anyway, that's good. Points on the board more points on the board, should I say. And we've got an 8 point, so it is a one-score game.
Yep.
It's the largest of one-score games, largest of one-score margins.
O's got to wear it out here. They've got to keep pushing it. They've got to keep going with tempo.
Onside? Onside kick?
I think. I mean, if they are onsiding it, I would recommend that they'd maybe huddle on the sideline and discussed it, because now, if I'm the O's, I am keyed to the fact that it's an onside kick when you see them all huddling on the field.
Yeah, I always say, it's a dead giveaway, isn't it? Too much time taken in a huddle. You're like, okay, they're going to do something weird here. And I don't mean that just for special teams, that goes for anything, right? So Alfie's asking how long left, about 7 minutes. 7 minutes and about 30 seconds. You can see the O's first and second lines are pushed right up here with a large gap before their back two returners, which makes sense. Are they going to dink it into the gap though? Yeah. Oh no.
That's Blue Thompson trying to recover it. He does recover it. And solid return, able to get out to just after the 20. So, you know, all you needed to do there was make sure that things didn't go that seems to be a word that keeps catching me up today. Catastrophically bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I think the O's need to be airing the ball out here. They need to go keep airing that ball out. It's working. Keep the tempo up.
Sorry, the XRs. That's your 1 and 6 team. I meant this Kent.
1, 6 and 1, thank you. 1, 6 and 1.
Oh yeah, wow. Draws shouldn't even be a thing in Britball. That's another thing I'm going to campaign for. But I think they need a turnover. They need to be pushing for, you know, peanut punches on the ball. Obviously, interceptions. Trying to get this ball back for their offense as quickly as possible. And that doesn't help.
And really interesting adjustment.
What a great run.
Really interesting adjustment by the O's to start the drive. They moved. Normally they're in sort of those spread looks, those trip looks, but they've come into that more condensed spread look so they can get extra wide receivers in there to try and dig out those alley defenders, those safeties, those nickels that come down.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference it made there, where they were able to seal up those edges, and that was able to, you know, the yardage that might have been there before.
Yeah.
Those defenders from deep are able to come into that box fit, whereas now you bring them in, they're able to dig them out, and so now it's much easier for them to run the ball. So this might be the change that they needed to be able to start getting that run game working. As we see once again, looked like they tried to trap there. 71 came across, didn't even have anybody to trap because they just picked it up and blocked it. But now, once again, they're getting yards. Now that they're able to stop those outside backers and nickels and safeties from coming into the play, they're finding those yardage on the field, and this is a completely different game now for the Mavs, because they were able to sort of play the game before, like, yeah, we've got the run sorted, what else you got? And they were answering at different points of the game with the passes.
They're going 3-man front.
They've gone 3 down front.
Why they're still 3-man front here?
Yeah, I think
because look, the offense is squeezed in, right?
So I think that they've been sort of moving back and forth between 3 and 4, and I think they've gone to 3 because that's what they're most comfortable with. And as we see that number 20 keeps gaining those yards. 2
fantastic runs from number 20 on this drive. Let's give him a name call out. Victor Thomas.
That's Victor Thomas. He's made a number of big rushes. Obviously, had one of the big rushes that started off their free play scoring drive early on in the half. And I think that this is the type of small adjustment that really impresses me as a coordinator. When you see it, it's like, right, we've got a problem, we're not able to run the ball. They've managed to actually identify what that sort of issue is and a fix for it. Yeah. And now you can see that the energy is completely different. You know, we were coming, I was sort of thinking, are they even going to sort of consider running? Are they just going to pass it? But now they're actually really able to control the clock and eat up those yards.
Look, the DBs on this side, like, you'd sacrifice one for at least an outside backer. They're just going to keep running the ball, like just run down the clock until it stops working, which may be there.
Yeah, and I think that part of it as well is that I think a defense that plays that 3-3 stack, there is a little bit of understanding that you can be a little bit more relaxed with the box, because those linebackers normally it's much easier for them to come down and make those tackles, because the defensive line are just normally instead of eating a one-on-one block, you're eating up two. So
it should just be standard, like, gap assignment defense here, right?
But I think the thing you've always got to be wary of as well is that this team has shown that even when we're winning the game, we're willing to throw the ball. So all it takes is one big sort of receiver screen or something, and suddenly, you know, you've got to respect that pass game again.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but like,
For me, I don't think
the O's, it benefits them to run the clock down. They're leading, right? So surely you know, as a defensive coordinator, you should think, okay, well, on balance, they're going to tend to run more than they're going to pass. Let me put 8 in the box.
I think what I would be looking at here is how can we be smart with like our sort of gap exchanges. So can we send some of our defensive linemen trying to slant into a different gap and have our linebacker come over the top?
Yeah.
And you know, it looks like it's been blocked down really nicely, but actually we've got a free release for a linebacker coming through to make the tackle in the hole. What are the sort of small little subtle bits that you can do to try and open up areas to attack? As we now see the play action pass, and it's picked off by number 29.
Woo! Sorry, I shouldn't get so excited, but I was really looking forward to the East Kent Mavericks. I'm so sorry. Getting a turnover and they've got it. So
yeah, and we've seen that. We obviously seen that Brandon Fields has been doing a great job rolling out and still being able to find passes and whatnot.
Imagine if this goes into overtime.
But now we've obviously seen that he's rolling out there. I think his receiver number 84 was open looking for the ball, but sort of didn't really sit himself down in any particular spot.
No.
And so obviously he just threw the ball away.
Well, do you know what I saw was the guy that picked it off actually bailed while the QB was going out to the outside there.
And that's why you got to have
just
people off in the secondary.
Really
still,
clever
right?
gameplay from him. Oh, imagine if we get a tight game here.
We've got a receiver screen out to Joel, running down the sideline, not quite able to get a first down, I don't think.
Stuff.
But
no,
we'll see where they mark him.
I think he's probably 8 or 9 yards on that play. Great play on a first down. Yeah, 2nd and 2.
And that's what they've got to keep leaning into. That's the bread and butter. Keep getting the ball out in the playmakers' hands quickly until they bite down enough that you can get a shot. That's what's worked for the Mavs a lot, and that's what they need to keep doing here if they want to go and get themselves tied up in this game. And so QB's looking for it over the middle. He's unable to get the play. He's asking for PI. I think I would consider that uncatchable, given the ball bounced at his feet.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Bit of frustration here from people saying, someone saying he should run the ball and just take 3.
Yeah, I think I understand that argument. I think as well, it's very easy as a play caller to get yourself in a situation where you're like, well, we've been running it, the play action is going to work. And then there might be something you might not be thinking about with the play action, like, does that actually mean that our protection doesn't account for all the same gaps as it might be on a pure drop back?
You've got to be going for number 5 here, and you're deep. No?
No, looks like they were going.
Come on, Joe. Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't realise it was 3rd and short. Sorry. So that was 3rd and 1. Great first down pick up there from QB Joe Thompson for East Kent, and the ball it looks like it's bang on the 40-yard line. Again, 90-yard field, so 45 being the halfway line.
And so I think I'm expecting something in the RPO sense on the near side of the field here, just from watching the hand signals and receivers speaking to each other.
QB saying, I'm throwing it to you. There we go. Nice bit of a play there that we missed on the previous drive between QB and running back. They connected beautifully there, and it makes all the difference because you saw how much space he had. Everyone had bailed, and
that's why you want
putting the shoulder quite nicely on the first tackle.
That's why I was saying before, you want to exploit those sides of the field when you get those spread matchups, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can put the fast free out there and get the running back free out there, then you want, just take advantage of the space that they give you.
Yeah.
And that should be Good job there. Looks like just about first down. And so they're starting to move the ball now, and you can see that they're trying to get the ball. They're favouring the trip side whenever they go to that trip side. So I would expect that maybe they're doing that because A, it's working, but B, when they need that ISO, now they might have lulled them to sleep enough that now in a situation like this, maybe they can take advantage of that 1v1 matchup. But obviously it's 3rd and short. They need a lot more yards on this game.
2-minute warning. I assume that's around we know it's around 2 minutes on the clock. Ball has moved over into the Olympians' territory, so roughly on the 44-yard line, and it's 3rd and 2.
And I wonder if they're going to come out with the fake screen and go here, and then come back on 4th down to try and pick it up. But maybe they might go for something shorter. They get the free play. He looks to his ISO matchup. He puts the ball out there, and he's picked off. So
he just might as well take a knee.
No, you may as well go and hit them. I mean, if I'm the O's, why on earth is number 3 not going to light up the running back on a free play? Go and take him out, and he might not be able to make a play on the next one. I'm not obviously not advocating for bounty gate style injury or thing.
Yeah, that's what.
But like, you know, if
that's what the Ken Exiles do.
No, I will not let Steve speak for me in this instance. But my point is more like, you know,
no, you're right.
You've got to play. Go make the play. You know, it might be a free play for them. It's not a free play for you. You know that you've given up the first down.
Yeah.
You may as well put yourself in the best position to win the next down. And the way to do that would have been to try and return the ball to the end zone and get all of your hats on their hats and be physical, right?
Yeah. So, for 1st down and 10, ball on the 38-yard line.
Ooh. And that's dangerous there.
So ball batted down there by, and almost intercepted there by number 2 for the London Olympians.
Yeah, that's Jamal Ryan Coker coming in to break up the pass. And purely guessing at this point, but I'm speculating from the coordinator's hand signals that maybe there might be some type of screen coming again.
I don't feel like screens are the right calls in this. Because the tackling's been so good.
So I would say type of screen where you're not actually able to get blockers out in front. If you're able to get to the wide receiver on the outside and that slot receiver makes the block, or if you've got offensive linemen that are able to move out so quickly that can make those blocks on the perimeter, maybe. But in that type of situation, they're not able to get any blockers out in front. You're putting a lot of work on Joel's plate to try and make men miss in this situation here. And now we've got 3rd and 7.
Ball on the 34-yard line.
QB got the ball out to Saquon, big catch, and he's tackled in bounds.
Sorry I didn't get the catch on screen there, guys. I've messed up with the zoom. But keeps the play alive, tackled in bounds. Play clock is going, we're inside the 2-minute. Oh my God, this is tense. No timeouts left. Is he going to spike? No, not going to spike it. Save the clock. I suppose they don't really need to at this point.
Good catch there, but he is still in bounds. Definitely now they need the spike.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, but they've whistled a first. There seems to be a problem with the chains. Have they called? Oh no, they're just saying it's first. That didn't look like it was a first down.
They had to blow the whistle.
I don't think that's a first down.
What was that? Here, let's just see. Time out for the O's.
I think, did you say 33?
I think so, but it's so windy, I can't.
So a little bit
hear
of context that might be helpful for the viewers is that in the first time these teams matched up, it was 7-6. The Mavericks drove themselves down the field, and they were unable to get their field goal unit set up and on the field to kick the field goal in time, so time expired and the game finished 7-6 to the O's. Now obviously the field goal is not going to come into play here, but you do wonder how much they might have learned from the lesson of those drives. Obviously, it's a little bit easier now you found yourself in the red zone. You're not having to move yourself down the field, but worth sort of thinking about, like, they've been in this situation, this tense situation before.
Yeah.
And just essentially, are they ready for it?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. First and goal here.
So they've come
Ball
out and
is
they've,
on the 8-yard line.
and so they've put their trips receivers closer together to the boundary. They've got their isolation matchup 1v1 with Saquon on the far side. Number 16 matched up in press man opposite him. You've got a couple guys showing blitz up front. They've motioned the receiver Joel. He's going open to the back of the end zone. Ball's come out.
He's wide open.
And it's a touchdown.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And that was just as easy a touchdown as you could ever draw it up. I mean, he goes in motion, the safety sort of follows him over the top, but as he then breaks out on the wheel with Saquon coming in, the safety just doesn't go with him. As a DB, you absolutely have to be thinking.
He just didn't. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And
He
especially
reacted pre-snap. We saw it.
And this is the type of thing as well that as a defence you just got to be thinking about when you see it early on in the game. You remember the clip we saw where the player came in motion, that zipper motion, where he came over and then went back out, and we saw that it was wide open. And the defence just has to see things like this and be hotter on it, because it's game situations like this where it's vital that you recognise those mistakes from earlier and have an adjustment for it.
So they're going for 2 here to tie the game. There's a little bit of a little bit of confusion in, but they've got the play in.
And I think
there might be a delay. They can't. Oh, the O's, no.
Yeah, now you've seen the look they want to be in. Do you call a timeout? Nope, they've ball snapped. They try and get that rub go, and...
Oh my God!
And that...
I'm just filming, these guys are going nuts.
And honestly, that was a fantastic play call where they looked like they were running to get the cross and get that exchange, but then after that, both the DBs sort of passed off and thought, I've got to go with the other one, and Joel just slipped behind him over the top. Really interesting play design, really good job executing it, and that man has been absolutely standout for their offense. Everything has gone through him today, and now this is going to be fascinating. The O's do have some timeouts to use, and we've seen them be able to move the ball quickly. I wonder if they can get themselves into field goal range and try and take this game.
This has been probably the best game that we've ever live streamed. In terms of, it's a playoff game. These teams have had nothing in between them all season. You know, the finest of margins. And then we're here in the dying seconds of the game, and it is tied. It is 24-24. I just can't believe it. I'm ecstatic.
I think I want to push back on Steve's comment with not you, Steve Taylor, with some of the worst defense. I think that both these teams can throw the ball at a high level and have really creative schemes to do that. And I think that these teams, the Southeast is also the toughest division as well. And I think that the passing element is a lot stronger than maybe it is in other divisions, and so that has to be accounted for in a very different way to a lot of the teams you see when you just watch a lot of games that get streamed at this level. Yeah.
You pick great games. Warlord on Amazon Prime, absolutely, guys. Let's all just have a little moment to think about Warlord and what it's done for this game and how great it is for British American football on Amazon Prime. Go and watch it. Anyway, let's just put some of these comments up. People getting so excited, just as excited as us in the comments for the Mavs. Unbelievable. Joel's dad, so proud. Fantastic stuff. Right, well, let's back to the game. It's the O's have got the ball, 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Let's see what they can do.
And so he's caught the ball, he stayed in bounds. You saw that Mavericks had a bit of pressure there, going to 5-man pressure. So let's see. I mean, interesting to see whether they try and mount a drive here or whether they just try and play it safe and get to overtime, because the last thing you want to do is make a mistake here. And yeah, it seems like...
What was that? He blew the whistle, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be end of game or a timeout. I think that's timeout for the O's.
No, it's end of game. He's about to hold the ball up.
Okay, so we're going to
my
overtime.
God. So that's the end of regular time. So we're going to go into overtime. This is amazing.
So, correct. Tell me if my understanding of overtime
Penalties,
is correct,
I think.
Steve. I
Penalties.
believe it's both teams get a drive from the 25-yard line, and after that, it then becomes a 2-point shootout.
I'm pretty sure if you look at look, there's one over there. There's a goal there, and they bring that out to the halfway line here, and then they just go penalties. With an American football, and yeah. No, I don't know. I think you're right.
This is a really interesting situation as well, because obviously it's one that not a lot of teams are prepared for. So you know, how do we see them take away the most important lessons from that? I think if I was the O's, the most important thing for me is how do we handle motion and the different balance of formations, because we've seen them try and put 3 guys to the short side of the field to create that numbers advantage. We've seen them, obviously, that also creates that really big isolation on the far side. They can motion in and out of that. So how are you handling those various motions? And I think that from the Mavericks perspective, in terms of how do they handle on defense, they seem to be able to get some pressure, but whenever they don't send pressure, the O's seem to be able to find passes and be able to get the ball moving down the field. And we've also seen them now find a couple ways to be able to run the ball a bit better with those condensed looks. So how are they going to handle those condensed looks? They're going to bring players in as those extra run-fit defenders. Are they going to stay off and outside to make sure they're protected from anything going over the top?
So the Mavs won the toss and deferred. So the O's have picked to go left to right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but there was the coin toss here. So it looks like they're not going to do the thing where they start from the 25. They are actually going to have a kickoff.
No. They will start from the 25. They're going in this way.
Oh, okay,
I think
cool.
that.
But it's the O's get the ball first. Both teams will get the ball.
But I wonder why they've picked to go this way, because the wind is in their favour this way, and I believe that they would flip. So I think they've given the Mavs the wind.
I like to just reflect on the movie Warlord and just look for answers and guidance and strength. And you know, you could do that at home too. You just check it out on Amazon Prime. And you know, you can turn your life around. I did. And it's all thanks to Warlord. Anyway, let's back to the game. So,
that's the best pounds they've ever. The value for money on the £1 they gave you is incredible.
Yeah, the best spent pound ever.
If anybody wants to give us £2 and sponsor something else,
think of what I'd do for £2. Anyway, so ball is at the 25-yard line. It's 1st and 10. There is no special teams, and both teams will get an opportunity to score. So if the O's score on this drive,
watch number 84 on the wheel here. So I've seen this look from the Olympians a few times, where they've got into this trips bunch look, and they love getting number 84, who we've seen get involved in the game a fair bit so far, Chimoy Young, releasing out from the inside of that bunch and getting out on that wheel to the end zone. I think you could see that was what Brandon Fields was looking for there, but with the pressure that was coming and he didn't quite get a clean release outside, he wasn't able to find it. But that's one of the plays that I've seen them get a few scores on in some of their games, and so they've gone to that immediately and it hasn't worked. So you wondered, what do they have next?
So they're saying it's still 1st down on the sticks, but it's 2nd down here. It should be 2nd and 10.
So they've gone to an unbalanced look here. So they've got all 4 guys on the same side. One of them's going to be ineligible. It's going to be the tight end. So they've got a trips look with an extra blocker.
Oh, what a play! What a play by the East Kent Mavericks. I think it's number 33.
Yep, that's Omid Tamaz coming in and making the play. So
that's what you call a clutch play.
So it's one of those plays that's a really clever whiteboard play, but doesn't always work when you actually play it on field. I've tried to use some unbalanced looks myself. It's quite hard to get consistency from them. So they've tried to run to the side of the field by moving all of the eligible players over to the same side. But they've obviously ended up, the Mavericks haven't adjusted, and so they've been able to come in and rally that tackle. So, and now you're in a very difficult situation.
3rd and 17.
3rd and 17. QB's got a great pocket to work with. He's found his man open in the seam. Big catch! And he's got it all the way down to the 1 yard line. I would say you need to go with tempo here. Just try and run the ball in. Let's see what they do. Overtime is untimed. It's an untimed period of play, so it's just whether the other goes until the other team either scores or they get a turnover on downs or there's an interception.
So if the O scored here, then the Mavericks will get the ball either way. Oh, if the O's don't score here, if the O's score here, the Mavericks will get a chance to score. If the Mavericks don't score, then the O's win. If they do score, then it goes into a shootout essentially.
Yes, 2-point shootout. And so from here, I think you've just got to try and pound it in a few times, right? First and goal from the 2. They've got 2 back set here. They've got a couple of receivers in here to help the block. They send a guy in motion, see if he follows.
And we've seen this offense run the ball fairly well, but
I don't like that call because I don't like the fact that you're putting that defender in a position where he's got, the running back in a position where he's got to build up to a head of speed to that open edge quite quickly. I think there you want something that hits inside quickly, maybe use that motion player to try and be a blocker and pick up somebody inside because unfortunately that type of play call, now you've just lost yardage and now you might have to throw
the 5 yard line, 2nd down and goal. Great play by number 8 from the Mavericks there.
Number 88 back open at the end zone. You just want him to throw the ball a little bit earlier. You see he managed to slip over the top on that quick rollout and he was wide open. But if that ball came out sooner, he might have had a little bit more of a chance to be able to bring it in for a completion there.
And in one of the other semi-final games, it's 14-3 to the Alphas over the Glasgow Tigers at half-time. And it looks like Merseyside ended up winning that game. I don't have a score, Ryan. If you've got the score, that would be cool. I don't know if you've posted it. We've had a lot of comments come in, but that would be great.
So let's see what they do here. So they're coming out with that same 2 back set again. If I was them, I would send some sort of motion to the side with your 2 receivers and try and get that isolation to 84 on the backside.
I almost can't watch it, man. This is so tense.
Number 3 looks like he's offside. So they've got free play. Number 3. And that is...
Doesn't matter. You've got a flag.
And that is insane because the thing is, so I'm just shocked really because number 3 is a very experienced player who's played, I had a coach that I know who saw that he transferred into our division and was like, yeah, you've really got to prepare for that dude. He's insane. He's had like 3 picks in a quarter before, like very high level player. And so to see him be offside in that situation is just stunning.
So the ball gets moved, 2.5 yards towards the goal line, and it is a repeat of the 3rd down. Look, what a swing that penalty gives.
Personally, I'm surprised that we haven't seen the O's try and get into their trips bunch look again and either run some sort of toss to that side or get some sort of rub with the receivers there to try and create an open man.
They're down, here we go.
And we get that slip to number 88 and he's open this time and it's...
Oh my God!
It went in and out of the hands. They did exactly what they should have done on that earlier play.
You would have put your house on him catching that mid-play, right? Where as soon as it left the QB's hands and you could see the number 88 was just there with his arms out.
And do you know what the craziest thing is, Steve?
How did he not bring that in?
The last time these 2 matched up for the division, when a tie would have meant that the O's would have been hosting this game instead of playing away, on a 2-point conversion, it went in the hands and it dropped. And to see that now happen again, they can go for a field goal, and that would mean that the Mavs would then have to either get a field goal and that would tie it so that you get the 2-point shootout, or if they don't score.
Okay, cool. I didn't realise that.
So they are able to take a field goal, and you can see all of the coaches are huddling to make this decision.
They're talking about that, right? Did we go for the field goal? But I mean, the field goal.
Fake field goal would be the ultimate. I wouldn't expect this to happen.
I'd love a fake field goal. But the play starts technically in field goal range, although it is against the wind here, so probably not considering the conditions.
I'd consider this a chip shot. This is very much you're trading free for the possibility of 6. I wouldn't say that there's any I would be stunned if you were to kick a field goal here and it was not to be successful, unless obviously there was any issues with the field goal protection up front.
Guys watching, I know it's tense, but let us know who you're backing. Any shout outs to your loved ones who are playing. They need your support right now.
And Ryan, like, you're 100% right. Like, this is a fantastic
so much
game,
fun.
and I think that this to me was going to be the best game of the playoffs. When you see these teams at this high level, I think obviously I would say, you know, it might be a bit biased, but I do think that the Southeast has been the best division in Division 1 for a while. Definitely the most competitive. And so to see the two best teams in here that have played such tight games.
Just nothing between them. Yeah.
And it's been a different game to the type of game script you would have expected. Like, I wouldn't have expected the O's to have come out so hot, start off and pull away. I didn't expect the Mavs to have the resilience to come back and make this a tight game. And so now for it to have this finish is very justified.
Oh my God. They've got him! What a play, what a clutch defensive play there. Waiting for the man to come to his feet. And it is number 33 for the Mavericks.
And that was Omer Tamiz. He made a big play earlier as well. Interesting thing about that play was they basically ran what looked like the same play as they'd ran the last couple of times that had got that tight and opened the back of the end zone. But this time he dragged across the formation.
Yep.
And you wonder if he was looking to maybe settle himself and try and find that pass dragging across. But obviously not able to get the protection. They chase him all down. And now...
You've got to be looking at this. And the Mavericks play towards the end of the fourth quarter and say that they're likely to score here. And all they need is a field goal.
I mean, you say that, but with the way that this game has been going...
I know.
Although we've got a stoppage for a duck.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And it's crossing, it's getting to the 10. It's going, it's breaking out to the sideline.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's settled itself down in the space.
Is a duck a worthy...
Hey, it's doing what you're coached to do. You're coached to go from the inside to the hashes, to the numbers, to the red line.
Sign him up.
Just out of bounds at the 50.
Shame.
I tried to have my...
they're saying it's Boyd, not Omid. So we might have the... Sorry.
It's
Apologies
fine.
for that, guys.
Blame the teams that give us the teams very helpfully give us the jersey numbers, but unfortunately they're not always perfect.
Right, 1st and 10 at the 25. Any points wins this game for the Mavericks
So they
on this
start off
drive.
with a handoff.
In overtime.
That's infuriating. 2 sets of hands get to the running back and he ends up getting 7 yards still on a play where if you had been able to stop them and made it 2nd and 10, you know, it's not a given field goal from, it would be a 42-yard field goal from the 25-yard line. So you really needed to be able to come up and make that stop in the run, because now for the the Mavs, they're kind of able to play with house money here, you know. You've got a couple of downs, try and get some space, but even if you stall out and kick a field goal from here, there's still a very strong chance you're able to convert.
Yeah. Imagine if they kicked the field goal, it didn't have the legs, and someone caught it and ran it back.
I'm not going to be able to watch Warlord. You'll be able to spoil the ending for me, won't you? A big tackle by Harold again.
Great defensive
so that's going to
play
bring
there.
up
Number 59
3rd and 1
for the O's. And both teams just like, it's crazy. They're both so fragile in this game, hanging on to try and get this win. I don't know. It's just. I'm not even part of either of these teams. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I feel sick.
And so
watching
look,
this
so they've
game.
run into that trips look here. They looks to be manning up based on the alignment, or actually probably looks more like a quarters look. So might be opportunity for a little screen here.
So 3rd and 1.
But they've gone with the QB
Yeah,
power
I think
again,
that's the
but
right
he's running to
play.
the open side. Big tackle there. So
Well done, Joe.
I
Picking
think
up that.
interesting that they've got it down to the 11, so that means they technically can still get a 1st down without having to go into the end zone as well. So they've got a little bit more space to work with.
1st down still possible.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of comments for the duck. Loving the duck. The duck is just the cherry on top of this game, isn't it? Really.
And I think
if you're a neutral, that duck was like the best thing that could have happened.
And so the Mavs spreading it out a bit here. Got to be alert for any motions, as we've seen the motion a lot from these looks. We see the motion over here. They're signalling for the safety to come over, but he doesn't go all the way over. He sits himself down the seam. They've got a 1v1 on the outside, a lot of hand fighting.
Calls for PI there.
I think all fair in love and war. They're both hand fighting each other, you know.
I do. Oh no, I see the PI call there. I would feel unjustified. Unjustified. Is that right?
I think if the receiver's pushing off on the corner as well, then it's all fine. I think as a receiver, you kind of got to make a decision that if they're going to be hand fighting me and I want a PI call, I've got to sell it, you know.
There's so many duck. Let's focus on the football because I could get caught up in this.
Come on, comment section. Stop focusing on. Start focusing on the football. Stop ducking around.
Oh, what the duck! 2nd and 10.
Low snap, but managed to rally, and so now that's bringing up 3rd and 8. This is a big call here.
Is it? No. This isn't a big call.
No, I don't mean in terms of whether you go for it or not. I think in terms of what you call is like, you know, as an OC, sort of sitting here thinking, what formation do I get into?
Gotcha.
What play?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's been a lot of things that have worked. There's been a lot of things that haven't worked. You know, what's the situation that's going to get our best numbers here? But we've got to remember, you do have a timeout. Like, you can use a timeout.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a moment where you get lined up in a look, you see if what they give you in this look, call a timeout, and then, you know, say, I like this, or actually maybe there's a better look given what they're showing. But they're showing man, look, I think they're showing man coverage.
Very wide receiver.
There we go, we see them trailing over. And we've got the handoff here, and
Joe keeps hold of it.
Oh well, really good mesh there. Completely fooled me as he rallied up the middle. And so now we've got a field goal.
Oh my God!
And so either this is the game.
So we've seen extra points blocked in this game, and field goals missed, and this is as tense as it gets.
My money's on a kick return block.
I mean this isn't win or loss, right? Right here. Because it would just go into the 2-point.
No, not if they blocked it and returned it.
Yeah. No, I mean if no one puts any points up on this play,
yes.
Then we just go into the 2-point shootout. But oh my God.
And here we go. Snap, hold, kick is up, and the kick is good.
And they win it.
And the Mavericks.
Oh my God.
And they've got a flag anyway.
Yeah, he got a flag because he went and held his hand behind his ear, but it's good.
But what does the flag mean?
Doesn't do anything.
We've got multiple flags on the field.
It doesn't matter. They're pointless.
And what a game! What a game!
Oh my God!
And
the scenes. Look at the scenes. We're just.
I wonder if we're even going to get a handshake line, given the way that things are going out.
No, yeah, there's a little bit of tension there from the O sideline and. Players throwing helmets and stuff, but I mean, both teams can hold their heads up high. This game has had everything. It's been tight from the start. It's just been so good. I think I'll be talking about this one forever. Like,
this is an incredible game.
So much on the line, and you know, so many big moments, so many big plays. But to go in, you know, in the dying seconds of regular time for the Mavs to get the touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion to push it into overtime and then defer the coin toss, let the O's go first, and then eventually, as you just saw it, guys, in very dramatic style, get the ball downfield and kick the field goal to seal the game. There's just so much in this game, and it's been an absolute pleasure covering it.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic back and forth. Obviously, I think it's been a really different game script to what I was expecting. Yeah. Really fantastic, sort of X's and O's battles, just lots of different little adjustments from both sides, trying to pick at little holes that they can find to try and move the ball. And obviously, then it culminates in a really fantastic set of drives from both teams. You know, O's should have won the game with 2 wide open opportunities at the back of the end zone. One that was overthrown, one that went in and out of the hands of the receiver.
Yep.
And then obviously you saw the Mavs just managed to make a couple plays, get themselves into good position to take that little field goal. Obviously the Mavs are going to be moving on to play Wembley in the final, which is going to be a fascinating game.
2 weeks' time, I think.
But I do want to take a minute to just talk about the O's and their season. I mean, starting off the season, I'd heard that they didn't have many players at practice. There'd been a lot of experienced players that had left, and they really had to recruit a lot of young players, especially uni players, into their squad to get things going. Obviously, they've got new head coach coming in with Tariq stepping up to head coach after Murray stepped away. And to be the outfit that they have been this season is really, really impressive. Obviously, they've matured and developed a lot of that talent to step up to be really contributing players in big spots in these games. And I think that they've done a really good job building themselves up, and it wasn't their time this time round, but they're going to be a really competitive outfit next year. And obviously we'll see whether the Mavericks will still be in this division or whether they'll find themselves up and getting promoted depending on how these next games go.
2 wins away.
But as you can see, this division...
Yeah. Someone just said put the 3 points up. Yeah, sorry, I was so excited. There we go. And that's full time here at the game. The game, I should say the score as well. I don't know what I'm doing. Mavericks have won 27-24 in the most dramatic of fashion here, and it's been a tremendous game. And
you didn't ask me, Steve, but player of the game.
Yeah, I know that's what I was going to ask.
It's Joel Hughes for me, number 11. Obviously, field goal kicking for them, but most importantly, doing a lot on offense. Doing great work with the ball in his hands as a slot receiver. Obviously, came up with one of the big touchdowns early on. Made an impact blocking as well, whether that's blocking on screens as a receiver. Did a lot of good work coming in and filling in as sort of a tight end at particular points during the game. Like he was fantastic today, and you can see the amount of motion that he had at the end of the game, and rightly so, because he's been all over the field doing absolutely everything in his power to will this Mavericks offense down the field at times. Sometimes when the ball was moving fine, and at other times when it really wasn't, and he had to get the ball in his hands and get things going. So fantastic game from him, but lots of other fantastic points across the board.
Because I'm a man of the people, I've got to give MVP to the Duck.
Well, we've seen how you can easily be swayed, but hey, I think.
But no, I think what you're saying is fair. But I don't care about what's fair. I care about what's funny, and it's funny to give it to the Duck, so that's what's happening. But no, we can each pick our own MVP. But you're right. The O's can have their heads held high here, and I, with their changes and Coach Rick coming back in as head coach this year, I feel like what the bit that they were missing. I feel like I know the bit that they were always missing was like that lack of overall commitment from players, like not enough people at training, and that was what they were sort of blaming their losses on in last couple seasons. And I don't know this because I haven't spoke to Coach Rick, but you can just see him, both head coaches there just chatting in the middle. But I know that Coach Rick's a winner, and he's a great motivator, and I think this is the start of his next era of London Olympians coaching, like head coaching, we'll just catch this. They're all getting excited. Awesome to see. But yeah, sorry, I'll pick up where I left off there. Yeah, I think the O's have had a very good season, and they absolutely can build on it, and they leave here, with their heads held high, having played one of the best playoff games I've ever witnessed, and I'm so pleased that we're here to bring you it, and I was here to just watch it live. And I'm at the top of a tower, and I've got a great angle. Did I mention we got a great angle? And also, that Tom was there with me to say all the serious stuff, which allowed me to crack loads of jokes, and that we're able to mention Warlord so many times and get people get people in the mood to watch it.
There's not every day in Britball is a great day, and there are lots of various things that will go on that I'm sure we talk about through the season, and lots of things to complain about. Even today I managed to find areas to complain about, but this has been probably the best game I've been able to have the pleasure of attending as in Britball. And so yeah, this is a really great example of how awesome the sport can be. And a great argument that we should have some regular season overtime.
Mate, that's the next A and B post, I think. For those of you familiar with our coverage, we on Sport Time, we do these A and B posts where we get people to vote stuff, and I thought it's been on my list for a while, because I do think we should have overtime in regular season. Anyway, that's us done for the day. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, we are back on Saturday evening to bring you the London Warriors. Well, actually, the Bristol Aztecs versus the London Warriors. Bristol Aztecs are at home. So yeah, I'll be back. Tom, I don't know if you're available, but you're welcome.
Depends how much money Warlord can throw at me.
Yeah, Warlord will be back. Hopefully, all of you will have watched it by then, and we can trade memes and quotes from the film. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully it was every bit as exciting for you guys as it was.